Freedom, man. That's what it's all about. You've got to groove on freedom, like the good book says.
Welcome. You are listening to What on Earth is Happening. This show will discuss the topics of human consciousness, mind control, natural law, the occult, and all issues that affect the freedom of the people of Earth. What on Earth is Happening will endeavor to shine light upon the darkness of our world and to offer empowering solutions to the problems we face as humanity approaches its critical moment of choice. And now, here is your host, Mark Passio.
Welcome one and all. You're watching What on Earth is Happening. I'm your host, Mark Passio. My website, whatonearthishappening.com. Ladies and gentlemen, government is slavery. Always has been, is now, always will be. And here on What on Earth is Happening, we are ending slavery one mind at a time. Welcome and thank you for tuning in today. Today is Sunday, February 11th, 2024. This is episode number 282 of What on Earth is Happening. As always, I'm going to remind you that What on Earth is Happening is a show of cumulative information that is delivered in a stepwise sequential progression, which means that if you are a new viewer to this podcast, you should not listen from this point, and instead you should build your knowledge base and your understanding in a progression by going back to podcast number 1 and watching the show in its entirety, all of the episodes in their entirety from episode number 1 in order through to the most recent episodes without skipping around. And if you do that, you'll gain the maximum benefit from the knowledge that has been covered throughout the course of the years of this program. So, I do, before I begin the topics for today that we're going to continue to cover, which is the unholy feminine, neo-feminism, and the satanic epi-eugenics agenda, we're covering that in an extended series, revisiting that topic in an extended multi-part series on What on Earth is Happening. Today, we'll be getting into that topic again for part 4 of our extended series. Before that, I do, as always, have some housekeeping announcements. So if my producer could cut over to my laptop, I'm going to go through some housekeeping first. Thank you, as always, to Will Keller of the One Great Work Network for graciously making the title card art for the What on Earth is Happening podcast. This is the artwork for today's show, The Unholy Feminine, Neo-Feminism, and the Satanic Epi-Eugenics Agenda Revisited, Part 4 of, I don't even know how many parts. It'll take as long as I take to go through the material and cover it to my satisfaction. And hopefully that this material is eventually truly understood and integrated into the conscious community of viewers out there, because I felt when I originally delivered this presentation back in 2016, almost 8 years ago, that it was not as fully received in the wider community as it could have been. And the people in the room, I felt they potentially, got it. And if they weren't already familiar with these topics, they learned a whole lot in an open-minded way. but in the wider community of freedom-oriented people who claim that they're freedom advocates. I don't know how well this material is truly being integrated, because I don't see a lot of progression in this regard and change societally happening as a result of the understanding of this information. I still see tons of resistance to it, quite frankly. I see more people than not trying to tell me I need to reevaluate my position on this particular topic. And the answer is no, I do not. I've had the information correct, fully understood and integrated, vetted with the trivia methodology for over 8 years, far longer than 8 years. And it is other people who need to play catch up to me in their understanding and integration of this knowledge. And they are resistant to this information because of their ego bullshit. And I'm going to continue to repeat that and say it again. It's still going to be true. People will still insist that I'm incorrect when I'm not. And I will still avow to the correctness of the knowledge that you will see and hopefully learn and hopefully truly understand as we go through this information. So let me jump to some housekeeping, and then we'll get into our official slides for today. In 2024, What on Earth is Happening is back to a live 3-hour format. With my producer Mike here in-house producing the show with a multi-camera angle setup. I'm here in my home studio at the desk. Some people talked about my background. That wasn't actually originally planned, but when I did move into my new place, this mural was already here as part of an old 70s style fun room basement. So I decided to just keep it for people who were wondering about that. It's not a backdrop. That's actually a mural that was in this room originally. It's just basically old school 70s wallpaper with that, jungle design. So I personally loved it when I saw it and said, that's going to be my backdrop for the show, and just incorporated it into the show for people who were wondering. So we are on a 3-hour format. And we're on a 6-month schedule with the show from January through June, because I focus my efforts exclusively from July through December on the How to Become the True Media seminar, which we'll talk about momentarily. This season, we are simulcasting on 10 platforms. I'm proud to say that we are doing all of this simulcasting and getting the word out there on multiple live streaming platforms. We stream and simulcast the show live every Sunday on whatonearthishappening.com, onegreatworknetwork.com, Telegram, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, X, Rumble, Odyssey, and DLive. The How to Become the True Media 2024 seminar will be coming up July of 2024. Pardon me, folks, I have a little tickle in my throat. Okay. How to Become the True Media is an online technology skill sharing seminar. It's a 23-week seminar, 1 night a week, a 3-hour teaching session every Monday evening from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, which takes place from Monday, July 8th, 2024 to Monday, December 9th, 2024, for a total of 23 class sessions. I will be teaching people all of the skill sets that they need to know and to understand in order to actually go out into the world and publicly teach natural law, objective morality, the evil that is taking place in our world, all of the mind control methodologies that the Satanists use against the human population, which is what this entire series on the Unholy Feminine is about. It's about a subset of their manipulatory, predatory, occult psychological techniques. So I teach people how they could become teachers of this information and put the word out publicly out into the world, which is the only way that we're ultimately going to truly change things for the better. This is a beginner and intermediate set of knowledge. covering the ground from everything from basic operating system skills in computing to things like workflow and best practices, to things like graphic design, to organizational skills, to the life skills that you really need to know and to possess to do this type of work. It's not just a technological seminar, but we do focus on that, and it takes people through how to make a presentation, all the audio and video equipment you need to do live performances or to do a live streaming show like this, how to do video editing, how to do audio editing, how to make a live show, a live streaming broadcast. So we teach you everything that you need to know to do the great work. And this is a seminar that has limited seating space for the virtual seminar. So don't wait until the last minute. Enrollment will open April 1st, 2024. It is a $523.93 donation when enrollment opens. Enrollment is not open now, so you cannot donate yet to become a member of the class this season, to become a member of the seminar. You have to wait until enrollment opens on April 1st and then visit howtobecomthetruemedia.com. The enrollment buttons will be placed on the website on April 1st at midnight Eastern U.S. time. For more information on the upcoming How to Become the True Media seminar, visit the official web page, the official website at howtobecomthetruemedia.com. The One Great Work Network is constantly online, streaming live, and filled with incredible content by over 70 great conscious content creators. Please visit onegreatworknetwork.com. Check out the live stream there. Check out all the great content there on the content creators page. And please don't forget to support the great content creators of the One Great Work Network. They all deserve your support on an individual basis. Don't Tread on Philly will be meeting this Wednesday evening for our second Wednesday happy hour. Every second Wednesday of the month at The Dive on 947 East Passyunk Avenue in the Bella Vista section of South Philadelphia. So if you're in the area, this event is always free to attend. Come on out, say hi, network with some freedom-minded people. For more information, you can visit don'ttreadonphilly.com or visit the Don't Tread on Philly Facebook page. And there's a calendar of events there as well. Inquire and Inspire documentary movie night takes place the third Thursday of every month from 6 to 9 p.m. It's always free to attend. It takes place at Arnold's Family Fun Center in Oaks, Pennsylvania. For more information on this great event that takes place monthly, please visit their website, inquireandinspire.com. The What on Earth is Happening IPFS project is ongoing. I'm not going to belabor this a lot. If you are interested in potentially hosting my content on the IPFS network, the distributed network called IPFS, please visit whatonearthishappening.com/IPFS and get the details for taking part in that project. To call into the What on Earth is Happening live show via Telegram, you can visit whatonearthishappening.com/call, which will link you to our Telegram group where we take calls. I don't know if we will be taking live calls today. More likely than not, we will not. I give this every week just to let people know where we do take calls. I am probably going to save calls. So if you do have something that you want to touch on topic-wise regarding what I'm covering during this series on the unholy feminine, please write down your thoughts and have them ready. And we will probably do, I'm thinking, 3 whole call-in shows, because I know people are going to have a lot to talk about and ask questions about regarding this content. I know much of the content probably will need to be clarified and possibly re-explained. I know people have a hard time. They struggle with this one. And many people think they hear me saying things that I am not. They can't hear what I'm actually saying. And I was talking about this last week on the show. And just to belabor this point a tiny bit, I just want to say this is part of learning how to learn. See, when I was singled out in my early grade school years by actually my first grade teacher that said, this kid is incredibly bored. He doesn't want to be here, but not because he's a bad kid or a disruptive kid or screws with the other kids in the class. He's just completely bored and doesn't pay attention because he already knows this shit. It's literally what my first grade teacher said. Okay? It's like he's almost wasting his time being here because not only did he read the curriculum of material that we have planned for all the other first graders, he read all the books that are at least at his reading level, or if not at a more advanced reading level on the topic, and knows all this stuff that we're teaching. And the teacher, my teacher would actually go to like the end chapter of the book and like ask me a question, and I would give her the correct answer. And so she knew I'm not like sitting around bored, not paying attention, not looking at the board, not looking at the book because I didn't know the answer. She recognized that I'm way ahead of the other kids, and I already knew all the answers that were going to be covered in the entire year. Not just that day, but in the whole year. So she calls my mother in and basically tells her, your son's way, way, way more advanced than all the other students in the class, and he's bored to hell sitting there, like basically knowing everything that we're going to talk about and teach for the whole year. And, you know, I have to recommend that, you know, he go get tested. He might have a very, you know, advanced mindset and IQ. And she sent me for testing in the public school system. I was tested. Over 150 IQ came back, but it's more than that. It's like, you know, very, very, very advanced eye-hand coordination, very, very advanced extrapolation of information given limited, you know, data set, etc. So she recommended me for like this really advanced school that is probably like a school that like the elite send their family to, okay, to get a real education and to really, truly learn how to think in an advanced way and in advanced topics. And the school was so outrageously expensive that my mother almost fell over, you know, looking at the price, and just basically said to, you know, the people in the program, there's zero possibility that I could afford this on, you know, my income. And so that wasn't even a thought. It wasn't even a possibility that I would be able to be sent to those schools full time. So the city education system had a secondary program called the mentally gifted program that they sent children into. And thank you. Awesome. And they recommended to pull me out of my regular Catholic grade school education 1 day a week and send me into this program 1 day a week in a public school that offered this program called the Mentally Gifted program. So I did that. And the reason I'm saying that is because I just want to give people a background that I've always been out on the cutting edge. I've always been way out in front of everybody else. And you know, I tell family members this. I'm like, look, you thought I was some super genius back when I was in grade school and my early years of high school, and now you don't want to listen to me about what's going on in the world. Do you think that brain power, do you think that power of intellect and intelligence applied only to like book knowledge in 1st through 8th grade? You don't think it applied to the world? You don't think that you think it's only limited to like what I was taught in grade school, and you thought I was some genius back then, but I'm not now when it comes to matters of life and matters of how the world really operates? And I'm just telling people that because I know I'm way ahead of the curve. I know that I'm in front of other people. And I'm not saying that to be egotistical. I'm saying that to place in framework what always happens. I give people information way before they're ready to hear it or receive it because they haven't caught up yet. They haven't gotten the information yet. They haven't gathered the grammar. They don't understand what it means. And they can't hear it. They're hearing their perception through what's coming out of my mouth and entering their ears and entering their eyes is based on their limited data set, their limited availability of information, their limited ability to sift through the information and truly make sense of it, which is why I tell people, don't listen in the later episodes. If you're a new viewer, go back and get the fucking grammar in the earlier episodes and just understand, I'm not telling you to do this for no reason or just because I like to hear myself talk, and you're incorrect if you think I'm incorrect regarding that fact. You don't know what you're talking about. Stop trying to get under my skin by saying, I don't need to do that. Yes, you do. You don't have the knowledge. If you did, you'd be doing what I'm doing. That's how I know you don't have the knowledge. You don't have the knowledge and you don't know what it means and you haven't put it all fucking together. And you haven't seen the big picture, because if you did, you'd be doing this. You wouldn't be sitting and clacking away and spreading shit on the internet with your shit fingers. Okay? Let's get it straight. Let's get it understood. You wouldn't be talking shit as an anonymous bullshit coward through a keyboard hiding behind the internet. You'd be out putting your face out there, putting your real name out there, showing people who you are, and if you searched your name on an internet search engine, wrap your name in double quotes, throw it in any search engine you want, whether it's Start Page, Quant, Ecosia, Google, Yahoo, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference what search engine you want to use, DuckDuckGo, whatever, okay? Pop it into a search engine in double quotes, your first and last full name, and you'll find out exactly how much you've been doing, how much influence out there you have, what kind of work you've been putting out. And you know what it is? It's always a big, huge goose egg. It's always one big round goose egg coming out of your ass, is what it is. The people who want to talk the most shit, tell me I'm wrong, tell me I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, are the people who have no information out there for themselves. Okay? And they want to think that their bullshit, uninformed, ill-read opinion is better than my unimaginably deep and excessive, to the point of exhausting, source material and topic material knowledge on these topics. Because if you think a presentation that I'm going to deliver over several weeks is the extent that I know, you're out of your mind. I know infinitely more than what I'm even laying out, because I'm giving you the most important stuff laid out in a condensed fashion, okay, with appropriate graphics and text. What I know regarding this topic is 1,000 times more than what I'm laying out in this program, based on what I've read and researched. So, again, I just want to point out to people who want to talk shit and don't understand and think that they know it all, and you think you have all the information you need, you don't have shit that you need. Okay? You're an egotistical punk who hasn't done your homework yet. Most people have not even gone back and watched all my podcasts. And then they want to say they're on par with talking to me about these topics. You're not. You're not even a fucking amateur. You're a joke. Okay? So let's get that fucking straight before we even start in a 100% confrontative way. Because I don't care whether people don't like what I have to say or how I say it. I'm going to say it confrontatively right to your fucking face. Because that's what the losers of this world need to hear. That's what they are. They're losers who don't have the knowledge that they need, who think that they have all the knowledge that they need when they actually don't, and they actually then look at the people who are extraordinarily knowledgeable and say, because I don't agree with and I can't even fucking hear what you're saying because I'm so fucking dumb, you must be wrong. No, asinine fuckface, you're the one that's fucking wrong. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about because you haven't done the fucking homework. And I'm going to keep saying that every fucking week in the same way, and I don't care if you don't like it, and if you don't like it, shut the fucking show off and don't listen to a fucking word. Like I said, I'll burn my operation down based on your fucking ego response to it. It doesn't matter to me. That's not my karmic destiny or my work to take on. My work is I'm putting the information out to dullards. The dumbasses. If they can't raise their fucking consciousness and take their ego out of the equation long enough to listen and clean the shit out of their ears and let the good information in, that's not my karma. That's your fucking karma. Putting this out is my karma and my dharma. This is what I'm charged to do, my work. Okay? This is my action that I'm putting out into the world. To attempt to give to the dumb people of this world the information they need to hear based on flawless and impeccable research, and not just research through book knowledge, but from direct experiential knowledge in the world of the occult, which your dumbass doesn't have. Okay? And you want to say that makes me somebody not to be trusted? Go fucking ahead. Say that with your dumb fucking ill-informed opinion. Don't listen and go fuck yourself. It's your funeral, asshole. Okay? It's your funeral. It's your family's fucking funeral. Because they're already murdering your ass, you dumb shit. The dumb shit who thinks that they know what's going on and wants to tell the actual informed person that they don't know what's going on. Imagine, that's the dynamic of the world we live in. Where dumb shit punk kids won't actually hear what an actually truly informed adult is saying to them because of their ego bullshit. So, you got to put yourself in present moment awareness. And what I really wanted to say about this is I do have people that eventually come back to me years later. It's always years. It's never a couple weeks. It's never even a couple months or several months. It's always years after the fact. 2, 3, 4 years after I've been repeating it, saying it over and fucking over and over and over and over ad nauseum. Then I get an email 3 years down the road. And guess what? It's great. I appreciate people sending emails like that because what they'll say is, Mark, I was such a dumbass in the past, I couldn't hear you. My ego was in the way. I couldn't hear a word you were saying. It's like you were talking a foreign language. You might as well be talking in a foreign tongue. I was unable to hear any of the components of the grammar. I couldn't hear the information that you were saying. You're spitting out all this grandiose information that's ultra important to the world, and I was literally so dumb that I could not perceive what you were even attempting to tell me. And finally, after I kept going back to it, and they would say, I would listen to your podcast on a topic 5 times, 6 times. Like, I've never done that with one of my podcasts, right? Great that people do it. People say, I'm on the 8th time through your natural law seminar. I'm like, that's fucking awesome. Maybe I've been through it like 3 times, maybe, right? I've watched my documentary a lot more than that because it's shorter, but maybe I've gone through the whole natural law seminar like 3 or 4 times. There's people that tell me I've gone through it like 8, 9 times. Great. But here's the reason. They need to hear it that many times because they're so informationally low density that it has to keep being repeated. Then they have to stop. They got to go and look at other areas of research. They have to vet it. They have to do their own research. They have to look into the topics that I'm talking about and read and read and read and read. And it takes years. This is how the unfolding of consciousness actually works. This is real learning. Real learning is not instantaneous. Real learning is not soundbite based. People are like, tell me the gist of it in 30 seconds. No, dumb asshole, it can't be done. That's not the point. You're not here to get the knowledge in 30 seconds. You know, if you get the knowledge in 30 months, that's miraculous. Okay? Focus on getting the knowledge in 30 years, you know, and maybe we have something. You know, that's how long it really takes. The problem is most people don't even have a building foundation. They have no foundational basis for the knowledge to even sit upon. So you try to hand it to them and it's like they sink in quicksand. There's no foundation there in grammar, in data. So I like hearing the people eventually get it by sticking with it and going back over it and over it and over it and over it and reading more and continuing to aggregate more data, more grammar, as it is known in the trivium. And when they do that, some of them, if they're able to eventually break their ego down and get it out of the way to the goal that they actually want to get to, which is true knowledge leading to true freedom, then sometimes they come back to me years later and say, I couldn't hear what you were saying originally, and I thought you're just an asshole being mean to people. And eventually, I started really listening. I started emptying my mind of all the chatter and all the ego bullshit. And I really actually listened, not to what I wanted to hear, not to what I thought you were saying, but to what you were actually saying. And then I started actually looking into the data that you're actually talking about. And eventually, I heard you. Eventually, it clicked, and I actually heard what it is you were actually saying to me and everybody else. And then it finally clicked, and I began to understand it, and now I'm not a dumbass like I was when I started listening to you the first time and couldn't get it. So, let's move on. Still going through some housekeeping before I actually jump into the topic matter. ARC 2.0, the amazing repository of knowledge, is still available. As long as I'm alive, I will make this offer available. People do not have to write to me and say, is the ARC offer still on? If you know that I'm still living, the ARC offer is still on the table for people. You send a storage device to me, I fill it up and send it back to you, is essentially how the ARC offer works. You will get the big picture if you study the ARC. If you study the information on the ARC, you will eventually become enlightened and wake the fuck all the way up. If you do the work. But here's what the work, at least on just this small subset of data and grammar, consists of. 26,000 audio files, almost all in MP3 format, some in M4A format. Over 9,500 books, so that's almost 10,000 digital books on this storage drive, either in EPUB or PDF format. Over 3,400 digital videos, all from my own personal archive of research gathered over the years since the internet has existed, and I copy it onto a 2 terabyte storage device that you provide. For more information, please visit whatonearthishappening.com/ARC, and do take the offer seriously. You can download the shipping instruction document at that website by filling out the form. The ARC drive is not anonymous. You must fill out the form with your accurate information. When you send the ARC drive, you cannot send pseudonym information. You got to send me your real contact information so we can get in touch with you if there's a problem with your device. You know, people want to play secret agent man. Secret agent man, you know, oh, we're going to hide our identity even from Mark, even though we're asking him for the ARC, asking for his time, asking for his effort, asking for all the knowledge he gathered. And I want to play secret agent man. I'm not going to actually give you my real name. We're going to do a fake email. We're going to do a fake name. We're going to do a fake phone number. And then when your ARC comes all busted up because you shipped it to me all fucked up, we can't contact you. You know? I mean, this is how dumb people are, though, folks. This is what I deal with on a daily basis. You know? Give your real information. I'm not a secret agent. I'm not a member of the NSA. You know, I'm not one of the guys that's pretending to be one of the good guys and is one of the bad guys. If you think that, you have no discernment skills, quite frankly. You know, I'm an agent. Yeah. In my little shit home studio here, I'm an agent. You know, the ragtag operation that I run with barely, you know, the money that I need to keep it funded and keep myself here and fed. Fucking, I'm one of the bad guy agents who's getting paid, right? Yeah, okay. This is how fucking retarded people are. They're born fucking retarded from retarded parents, and they stay fucking retarded their whole fucking miserable lives. Here's the thing, folks. You can start retarded and you can fucking heal yourself. And I'm using the term to mean a really dumb, stupid fuck in street lingo. If that describes you, you're fucking retarded. It means you're slow, right? I get that there's legitimate retardation conditions, and believe me, they upset me, and I'm not making fun or mocking anybody with those conditions. They're genuinely upsetting. And it's a shame that those type of genetic issues and anomalies have arisen, and people are still to this day afflicted with those things. So the other people call me an ableist or something for using the term "this person's retarded." Like, look, it's street fucking lingo that means you're a fucking dumbass and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you think you do. Okay, let's get that straight. You know, I'm not actually insulting a segment of the population with disease. I'm telling the dumb fucks that aren't inflicted with a fucking debilitating disease, you're a dumb fuck. You have the opportunity because your brain actually isn't messed up in that way. And you have the opportunity to learn and come out of your condition of being fucking slow because you don't have the data you need. Stop thinking that you do. That's what makes you a fucking retard. Stop thinking that you know when you don't. And start working toward knowing. Start moving in that correct direction instead of moving in the opposite direction from real knowledge. If you want to support What on Earth is Happening in One Great Work Network, visit gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. Tons of great material there, from flash drives to DVDs to T-shirts to the One Great Work Collection solid state drive, my natural law documentary, other ancillary items like buttons, stickers, coasters, keychains. It's all there. And we have a technology donation section. Let me step out of the presentation briefly and go to the tech. Let's check in on the tech donation section of gifts and see where we're at. Okay, that's up. You can go back to the website. So I'll just go over here to categories, technology donations, and we can check in to see where we're at with the donations for a Mac Studio that I'm trying to get. So this is the item here. I'm trying to procure a Mac Studio for my office computer and my creative computer, what I will actually build my presentations on. And you could donate in $50 increments, starting with $50 and going up through $500. This is a crowdsourced donation method that I make available for items that we need to run this operation that are too expensive for one person to purchase. I wouldn't want to give the burden to one person. So we crowdsource it. And we are now at, we have raised almost half of our goal. And I think this is only show number 5 this season. So we have raised $2,750 out of the goal of $6,000. Thank you so much to everyone who donated in this crowdsource effort toward this computer that I would like to purchase later this year. And that's wonderful news that we're almost halfway there. I'm going to step back into the slides and continue. And then I have a very brief announcement before I get started with the actual content. So gifts.whatonearthishappening.com. If instead you would prefer to make a straight donation without, a hard copy item sent to you in return for your donation, if you'd rather make a straight donation to our causes, you can visit whatonearthishappening.com/donate. Tons of donation methods, including Cash App, GPay, Wise, Zelle, 9 different cryptocurrencies, check or money order if you want to do it the snail mail way, the old-fashioned way, and our Amazon technology needs list. I believe there are 2 items on that tech needs list on the donate page of What on Earth is Happening right now. Thank you to everyone who has donated toward the What on Earth is Happening and One Great Work Network causes over the years. We would not be able to continue to stay in operation without your generous donations. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for all who have contributed over the years in a resource-based capacity. Those are all my housekeeping announcements, save one. Let me let me just put my title card back on the screen briefly to just tell you this piece of personal information. I am not going to get into details this week, but I am going through a difficult personal time right now that may necessitate me not being on the air next Sunday. I do not know the time frame. There is a lot of up in the air things regarding what is happening right now. It will not affect the rest of the season of the show or my operation. Don't, think that it's anything that, disastrous. It is a personal, family-based, difficult time that I'm going through right now, and I don't want to say any more about it this week. When I have more information, I will deliver it, and that will either be next week or 2 weeks from now, depending on if I can be on the air next Sunday. So I just want to let people know that, and I will keep you informed of what I am actually referring to when I have more information myself. So I would just like to say, if people are, want to do that, just, send some good thoughts and energy. If you have any kind of even spiritual or religious sentiments, prayer is fine even as well. I don't really discriminate that way. So, but if you could, send some good thoughts and energy over, I could probably use it right about now. It's a rough time period. So let's jump into the topic matter for today. I'm going to switch over to my unholy feminine presentation slides, and I'm just going to back up by one slide and briefly review. We were talking about the topic of what Satanism is, because if the unholy feminine agenda that we are talking about and have been talking about for the past many weeks is indeed satanic, it is driven by an occult religion known as Satanism. And this is a modern term for it. It has been called many things over the centuries, over the millennia. I would refer to it as the worldwide network of satanic adherents, because that is what it is. It is an ideological worldview, is what Satanism is. Satanism is an ancient occult religion comprised of diverse, interconnected networks of worldwide adherents. It is not one group. It is not the Freemasons. It is not the Zionists. It is not the Kabbalists. It is not the Rosicrucians. It is not the Catholics. It is not the Jesuits. This is babyfied version of what the occult world is and who's running things from behind the ostensible corridors of power. If you think on the terms of it's one group and I could point a finger at them and point a finger on the map and that's where they're at, you're a child. You're a little fucking baby who doesn't understand the complexities of what is around you. It's a worldwide, diverse, interconnected network of evil and psychopaths that are all over the world, that have the same general mindset and ideology and are working toward the same agenda and goals. And if you don't understand that, again, that's why you're not in any position to even looking at taking them on and fighting them, let alone actually waging in spiritual battle with these fucking chess masters of spiritual battle, because that is what they are. And believe me, they're on a unified front. They are of one mind. They are of one drive. They're of one heart, I would say, which I call dark care. They care about the same things. They care about getting done what they want to get done. They care about their agendas. They care about their goals. They care about their time frames. They do their best to try to accomplish what they want to accomplish. They do their best to try to meet their goals. They try to do their best to meet their goals within the time frame that they want to accomplish their agenda in. These people are masters. They do not fuck around. They don't talk shit and then don't back up their shit talking. They do both. They do talk shit and then they back up the shit talking that they just did. They're not a joke. They're not to be taken lightly. We can laugh at how fucking really ultra miserable these people are as far as a perspective of Do they even have true love and true worth in their lives? Of course not. That doesn't make them any less competent. That doesn't make them any less dangerous. That doesn't make them any less powerful. For all intents and purposes, you can believe whatever you want about the fucking occult, but I know it because I was in it. And I'm telling you, these are strong, driven, courageous people in their way. They take chances. They don't want to be exposed, their whole plan and their whole network to be exposed, but they're courageous in their actions and what they continue to push and drive in their agenda to do. That's why the universe ultimately rewards evil like this. That's why it's letting them have their way. It's not going to just stop them. The universe isn't going to just stop these people. We have to stop these people. The universe is saying to us, be stronger than them. Be more united than them. Be more driven than them. You know what? The universe doesn't so much even reward good and punish evil as it does. It rewards strength and it punishes weakness and laziness and apathy. The less engaged you are in the aspects of consciousness, the more the universe will ultimately heap punishment upon you. That's how natural law really works, folks. And yes, it also does reward the good over the truly evil and bad in the very long term. But in the short term, the reason it's going to keep giving the Satanists their way with their agenda is because they're unified, they're of one accord. They're on the same page. They live and breathe together. That's what conspirare means in Latin. It means to breathe together, where the word conspiracy comes from. Are they conspiracists? Yes, they are. And there's nothing theoretical about that. They are of the same spirit. Literally, the word conspiracy means of the same spirit. Those who work together in like spirit. That's all it means. From the verb spiro, spirare in Latin, meaning to breathe. That which breathes is inhabited by spirit. Spirit is within it, and when it ceases to breathe, spirit has left it. The medical term for dying is CTB, ceased to breathe. Literally, when they write down that someone died in a hospital, it's the letters CTB, ceased to breathe. The spirit has left them. You know, to inspire someone is to put spirit inside them, help them to have more spirit in them. It's the breath of life. A conspiracy is people who live and breathe together. They're on the same page. They have the same agenda. So it is conspiratorial. There's nothing theoretical about that. See, I take umbrage with the term conspiracy theorist. Don't apply that to me. Apply that to some other dumb shit telling people the earth is flat or whatever fucking bullshit they want to propagate. Don't apply conspiracy theory to me. I'm not a theorist of any kind. I don't conjecture and theorize while I'm on the air. I told you the only time I ever did that was when I'm speculating about my cosmic abandonment general thesis, my explanatory synthesis, as I call it, of fragmentary data from the ancient past that could explain a lot of things about human origins and the current human condition. And there is some speculation, there is some theorizing regarding that particular hypothesis, synthesis, whatever you'd like to call it. The entirety of the rest of my work is not theorizing. Let's get that 100% perfectly fucking straight, morons out there who want to group me into the category of conspiracy theorists. I don't like conspiracy theorists. I think they don't do a service to the world trying to extrapolate and theorize things when they don't have any actual basic knowledge of the fact of the matter, which I do. I've been involved in this agenda directly in my life, in my personal experiences, in the places I've been to, and the people I've met with. It's not book knowledge, and it certainly isn't theorizing. It's the actual way that I spent my life when I was younger. So let's get that perfectly fucking straight. And if other people were there and saw it, then you have a right to talk. If not, don't call me a fucking theorist. I lived this, motherfucker. Let's get that 100% fucking clear and straight, number one. Okay? Call some other jerk off a conspiracy theorist. Okay? I'm a fucking whistleblower, loser. I'm a whistleblower. Okay? I'm somebody blowing the whistle on what I was actually a part of in life. Alright? So, shove your fucking term theorist up your ass. Conspiracy is a true thing that happens in the world every day. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a punishable crime in just about every law code in the world. People coming together to do crimes. There's nothing theoretical about what I'm talking about in this presentation. I'm a whistleblower telling you about an agenda that's planned. And is not just planned, but actively has been carried out. Not is going to be carried out. Has, past tense, been done. Been carried out. Been accomplished. Okay? And believe me, they accomplished this one. I was trying to warn people that it's in the works and actively happening years ago, and it was just in one ear and out the fucking other, and they have this so entrenched right now that I don't know if society will ever come out of it. At its ideological core, the religion of Satanism postulates that knowledge of the human psyche and how it works, and the knowledge of the laws of the universe and how they work, should actually be hidden. They should be occulted. They should be secret and secreted away and held by a certain subclass of humanity. Held only by a tiny few human beings, ultimately. So they can wield that information as a weapon over the dumb, ignorant, fucking morons of the world. The dumb, ignorant, unwashed masses. The unwashed, ill-read masses of the world. The uninformed, dumbass retards of the everyday population. That's who they're going to wield all of this hidden occult knowledge about how the mind works, how it can be manipulated, all the technocratic ways that they can manipulate the human psyche. And they're going to use all of that as a fucking weapon against the dumb. And that's what this whole presentation is ultimately about. It is much more accurate to perceive Satanists, Satanism in general, dark occultism in general. Look at the world of the dark occult like this. These people are ancient psychologists. They are from a lineage of psychologists that are master psychologists that go back deep into human antiquity for millennia, for tens of thousands of years. Forget, people. I hear people, this has been going on for decades. Decades? Try 200,000 years minimum. Try that. Try that number on for size. Minimum. Probably far longer than that. This has been going on for hundreds of thousands of years. Human slavery, human manipulation, human corruption, conspiracy, Satanism, child sacrifice, sex trafficking, the degradation of humanity into dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber masses of people. Try hundreds of thousands of years on for size. This isn't going on. This has been going on since the 60s. I mean, you're a fucking moron. A moron. This has been going on. Okay, you want to say this has been going on since maybe 600 AD. You're a little less of a moron, right? You know, this has been going on since, the days before what we call BC, before Christ. I'd say you're a little bit less of a moron. But if you really want to look at the scope and scale of the ideology that runs the world that I'm calling Satanism, and that most people who do really understand the world of the dark occult know as a satanic mindset, we're talking about at least 100,000 years, if not more, double that or more. Okay? So let's get that time frame straight, number one. This isn't something new that came with politics or with the Kennedy assassination. It didn't start there. This didn't even start back in when Marx came around and him and Engels were charged to write the Communist Manifesto. This is way before all of that. Way before that. I laid out the modern satanic origins of both Nazism and communism in my Two Masks presentation, which, by the way, I have very brief news about that. I have to meet with my editor this week. If I can find the time to do it, it's edited. and we're going to be ready to bring it out onto the store relatively soon, onto the gifts area relatively soon. So watch for that. 2 Masks is at the first draft of completed editing. So if I just watch it through and I'm happy with it, it's going to be released on gifts shortly after that. So I'm going to tentatively say a couple weeks. I'm not going to be exactly held to that. That's not a promise. I have to see what my personal schedule, because as I said, there's some very heavy things going on, and my personal schedule may not even allow for that time frame, but I'm shooting for the next couple of weeks to get it into my gifts area. Okay, that's the plan anyway. And I want to release 4 other presentations, possibly right back to back in that same time frame. That's my goal, because I don't want these lingering on later into the year. But I have to see how my personal schedule works out and if I'm able to meet that self-imposed date there. If I do, I do, and that's wonderful. If I don't, tough. I'm the one who has to actually do the work to get that stuff up on the store, on the gifts area. So we'll see how it goes, is the best that I can promise. So start looking at the occult world as a lineage of ancient psychologists who know all of the hidden knowledge about how the mind works and how the real laws of the universe work in nature. And then they've held it completely to themselves to the extent that they are able to do that, to keep it sequestered from the rest of the population, so they can wield it as a weapon. They can wield that knowledge as a weapon against the population, the dumbass population who remains ignorant of that knowledge. You can call this any name you want. In the modern day, the moniker of Satanism is attached to it because it's identified with the Christian concept of Satan, who is the adversary of the God of creation. So I'm going to talk about that momentarily. Okay, this is the slide we left off on last week. Through the power differential they gain by their knowledge differential, by way of manipulating those who remain in ignorance of the occulted knowledge that this priest class has, this small minority who are in the know wish to permanently rule the masses of humanity and effectively become God on earth. That's their ultimate goal. This is not about worshiping the Christian devil. Now, once again, if people believe that Satanism is the worship of the Christian variant or idea of the devil, you're a dumb fucking child. You are a little boy who just shit his pants in a diaper at 2 and is toddling around, waddling around. I just shit my diaper. That's literally who you are. That's literally you. That's you, if you think that's what Satanism is. I don't know how much more I could paint the picture and make people fucking see how you're viewed. That's how you're viewed by your masters. I'm not one of your masters, and I'm telling you, not only do they view you like that, I view you like that, and I'm not even one of your masters. You're a little shit for brains toddler that just took a big steaming dump in your fucking diaper, in your hugs, okay? You're a moron. You think unidimensionally like a little fucking shit diapered baby. Get your head out from up your fucking ass and empty the ego of your religiously induced bullshit and listen to an expert who knows what the fuck they're talking about because they were a priest in the religion. I was a priest in this religion. You are a know-nothing fucking moron. Listen to other know-nothing morons of what they think Satanism is when I was a fucking priest in the fucking religion, loser. Yeah, that made me a loser back then. I'm no longer a fucking loser because I got out and I'm trying to give the fucking playbook to other fucking people. But you'll have your head up your ass watching the fucking Super Bowl today instead of actually fucking getting it out of your ass and learning what Satanism really is instead of what your bullshit religious interpretation told you it is. Moron. See, the reason I get so viciously and almost violently upset is because imagine if someone came along and said, I'm just telling people you're dumb. You're dumb because I know the truth of the matter and I see the ill-informed opinions that you continue to shit out of your mouth. So I'm just telling you you're dumb. I'm not telling you that an actual experience that happened to you didn't happen. Imagine if someone who got their finger cut off with a saw, and I said to them, your finger's not cut off. Fuck you. You didn't get fucking traumatized with a cut off finger with a fucking saw when you were younger. That didn't happen to you, motherfucker. Imagine I would be prepared for a bottle. I'd be prepared for a beer bottle to be just swung the fuck on me. At least where I grew up, that's what would happen. In my environment in South Philly, when I grew up, you went into some fucking restaurant or a bar and you walked up to a person and they had a finger missing and you said, your finger didn't get, and you said, how'd you lose your finger? Oh, it got cut off with a circular saw. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm sipping my drink. Yeah, no it didn't, asshole. As far as I know, you still got your fucking finger. You'd be clubbed with a bat in seconds is what would happen to your fucking head. That's what would happen. And motherfuckers want to come up to me and tell me, no, you're wrong. You weren't fucking in this religion as clergy, as a fucking priest within it. I presented my credentials in a former podcast, the appointing of me to that fucking clergy position. Showed people the fucking documentation. So, if people want to disagree, that's one thing. Don't dare fucking tell me what I lived and didn't live. Or you better be prepared for fucking some real street shit to happen to you. And believe me, it won't be a fair fight either. Because I ain't worried about proving I'm a better fighter than anybody. You can ask people who have ever seen me fight. I'm a dirty motherfucker if it ever comes down to that and it happens. I don't worry about trying to prove I can knock you out. If I decide I'm going to hurt somebody, I'm going to fucking hurt them. And, at some point, I have buttons that can be pushed if someone wants to fucking get hurt, And I'll just say that out in the open. I'm not perfect. I can fall into a low state of consciousness. But imagine you being told. Imagine a mother being told, you're not a mother. You never went through labor pains and had a child. I don't believe you have a fucking child. Imagine saying that to a woman. What would you want to fucking stab somebody if someone told you never had a kid? This is the equivalent of people telling me I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about when it comes to Satanism. Go fuck yourself. You weren't there, loser, and I was. That's how that really works. Their religion is becoming God, morons. It's not worshiping the devil. If you think that, like I said, you're a little shit-diapered baby. It's important to understand that contrary to popular belief, the overwhelmingly vast majority of Satanists do not worship an externalized deity known as Satan in the Christian tradition, but instead they see Satanism as an ideological way of being in the world and view the ego-driven self as the god of their religion. The ego is their god. The self is their god. The ego-identified self is their god. Materialism is their god. Having more resources than they could ever use in fucking 1,000 lifetimes is their god. That's their goal and their god. They want to be God on earth. They want to rule everybody else. They want to be seen as gods and everybody else as their slaves. That's what Satanism is. That's the religion. And at a lower level, it's simply an attitude and mindset and worldview of egotism, of not really caring about anybody else but your selfish ass self. That's what Satanism is. Satanism is being in a mindset that you're not connected to God. You're not connected to the Creator. You don't care about the Creator's laws. You don't care about the difference between right and wrong. You don't care about whether human rights are respected. You don't care about who else suffers. All you give a shit about is your creature comforts. All you give a shit about is your own fucking ass. All you give a shit about is making money, having the resources you need, being comfortable. It doesn't make a difference what fucking happens to the rest of the world. That's Satanism. That mindset itself is Satanism. So you should look at, whenever you hear the term Satanism, and I'm not going to baby spoon feed this to people by actually turning it into that. The word is the word. The word is what it is. That's the term. That's how you reference it in the modern world. It's the satanic mindset. But if you have a problem with that, because you're a fucking moron with their ego in the way, call it egotism. Call it out of control egotism on a worldwide scale. Call it that if you want. I don't give a fuck what you call it. Call it, I got my head up my ass, so I can't say the word Satanism. You could call it that. This is, I got my head up my ass, so I refuse to use the term Satanism ideology. Is that what you want to call it? Because you're a fucking moron with your head up your ass and your ego in the way? The name for it in the modern age is Satanism. The end. Get over it. It doesn't mean it wasn't around before the word Satan. It doesn't mean it wasn't around before the concept of Satan. It doesn't mean it wasn't around before the Christian religion invented the character of Satan. That is not what it means. This is an ideology that I'm using the word Satanism to describe because it accurately describes the ideology. Call it the religion of the rulers of the world. That's the more accurate actual wording that you can use to view it. But what is the religion today? If you describe what is the religion of the rulers of the world, and I describe all the characteristics of that worldwide religion that all the globalist elitists actually have in their mind and heart, I'm describing the satanic religion. And again, people want to think this is not a singular sect of Satanism. This isn't just LaVeyan Satanism. This isn't Aquino-Setianism. This isn't a Whitehall Church of Satan variant of J. Solomon, or who called himself Yaj Nomelos, reversed his lettering of his first and last name. You can go on and on of all the organizations. This isn't the Satanic Temple. It's not the Temple of Set. And on into other variants of this mindset. Those are just subsections of it. They're not the whole worldwide network. They're a tentacle of the network. They're a tentacle of the octopus. They're not the whole body of the octopus. Okay? Just try to develop adult-like thinking when it comes to this. This is what bothers me, is all I see in this bullshit freedom community is just children. You think on the level of a little fucking baby with shit in his diaper. You don't think on the level of a very intelligent adult. And that's who you're up against. You're up against extremely cunning, competent, driven adults that know how to get done what they want to get done, and they're doing it. They're not talking shit about doing it. They're actively doing it to you. And you're still talking, it's the Jesuits, it's the Jews, it's the Zionists, it's the Freemasons. You're dumb fucking losers who your fucking masters are laughing at all day long. I don't want to be on the side of dumb fucking losers. I want to be on the side of driven, intelligent adults who could think more than a one-dimensional child shitting in their diaper. And I'm tired of being on the fucking losers team, because that's what most of you people are. You're fucking losers who don't know how to think because you haven't gathered the fucking grammar. And you're dragging me and everybody else on your side into your fucking loserdom, ass. That's the problem. Make an effort to get your mind out of one-dimensional bullshit thinking and wrap it around a deeper concept. This is the problem, is that most people are little shit fucking diaper toddlers and never learned how to really think. They can't think associatively. This is why so many people don't understand what's going on in the world. This is why so many people can't understand symbolism that's right in their fucking face. This is why most people can't understand it's a complex network. It's not one group of people. It's not exactly one ideology. There's variants of it. It's complex. It's not there to be simple for your lazy fucking simple-minded simpleton fucking brain to understand. It's calling you out of your simpleton monkey mind, and it's calling you to fucking develop higher levels of fucking thought pattern and recognition. This is the problem, is we have dumb fucking mud creatures on our fucking team. We have dumb golems. You know, they think in a unidimensional perspective, and then they stay rigidly, dogmatically attached to their bullshit. Learn what it really is. Why is it called Satanism in the modern day? Here's the reason. See, make an effort to understand something. You get your left brain eggheads going, whoa, if it's called Satanism, and if it's ancient, well, Satan as a concept, it wasn't even around more than a few thousand years ago, maybe. The Hebrews, mentioned it, and then the Christians grafted onto the idea. I get that, loser. You don't think I understand fucking comparative religion? It's one of the deepest studies, deepest dives I've ever fucking done. I could teach it as a fucking professor in the university if I wanted to, if I really wanted to make that my fucking goal and drive. Trust me, I'd be able to do it. With my knowledge base. It's not about the name. It's about the ideology. The ideology can change and shift and be called many different names throughout millennia. The term Satan actually comes from the Hebrew word Shatan, from the older Ha-Shatan. And we'll get into that in a moment. Why is it called Satanism? Why is it called Satanism? The symbolism and trappings of the Christian devil or Satan are used in modern Satanism for two reasons. See, they present Eliphas Levi's version or vision of the Sabbatic goat, right? The goat of Mendes in Goetia, etc. They present the Christian devil ideology and iconography, the symbolism. They want it to look like that for two reasons. Higher level Satanists are fine with those trappings for modern Satanism. They like it being that way because what it does to the uninitiated, what it does to dumb religious morons, is it gets them to think, and even left brain eggheads who just associate the modern satanic network or just lump it all in with, oh, it's the LaVey Satanism or that's the Satanic Temple, etc. It makes it seem like just other religions that are just, oh, those are quaint, nonsensical religious beliefs that, oh, yes, ill-informed people that don't have the kind of education we do, they believe in that superstition. They don't understand it's the ideology of the rulers of the planet. And why do they use the Christian trappings or symbolism of Satan within their elitist religious belief system? Here's why they use it. It's used in modern Satanism for two reasons. The first reason they use this type of symbolism is to try to make outsiders, often leftist eggheads, left-brained and leftist eggheads, think Satanism is just another quaint religious belief that is based upon traditional Christian belief systems. You see the clever chess game? This is how these people play. You're playing checkers, they're playing 5D chess. They're getting idiots to think exactly how they want them to think. That's what social engineering is. It's engineering the thought patterns of people to think the way the masters want them to think. And you still don't get it. The people out there still don't get it, because if you really got it, there'd be thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of teachers worldwide on what this belief system is. It wouldn't fall to Mark Passio and a few people on One Great Work Network. Everybody be talking about it and would be accurate about it. You get some dumb morons that are talking about it, and they're like, they're devil worshippers. They worship the devil. You don't know what they do because you're not in Satanism. You never were. You never will be. You don't know what Satanism is. You don't know what the ideology is. You don't know what the mindset is. You don't know what the fucking worldview is. And you don't really know what the agenda is. You think you do and you don't know. Because if you believe this is just about worshiping the Christian devil, once again, you know zero about what Satanism is. And the reason I'm belaboring, defining it correctly, is because you have to truly understand what Satanism really is and why it operates the way it does to understand the neo-feminism agenda, because the neo-feminism agenda is part of Satanism. And if you don't understand what Satanism is, you'll never really understand the psyop that's being rolled out on you. And your dumb fucking mud creature ass. Golem. I'll call you what they call you because they're right. That's the thing. That's the fucking part that has burned my fucking heart out. Is that I had to acknowledge years and years fucking later that these people told me the truth and that they were right. And you want to call me, I'm still a Satanist for saying that? Whatever, and fuck you, like I said, because it's still a true statement. That doesn't mean that I'm still on their side, that I still have their mindset, because I don't. I'm just acknowledging the truth of that they told me that people were this dumb. And they are. The second reason that Satanism uses the symbolism and trappings of the, quote, Christian devil is because Satanists themselves want to associate themselves with the adversarial dynamic in nature. What is the adversarial dynamic? In the occult world, the adversary of the evolutionary force. In the occult world, let me break down one of the most important, fundamental, and basic occult teachings that is taught in all true, original, mystery tradition intent schools of occult thought. So if you have teachings that have been brought down through the ages and through the generations by great teachers of the mystery traditions of consciousness, you will realize that if it's been unadulterated, if the teachings have been unadulterated to a certain extent, they will talk about two basic terms being the highest level forces that operate in the realm of nature or in the universe. And those forces are based in the thought forms, because everything exists as thought in keeping with the first principle of natural law within the Hermetic tradition of teaching the Hermetic principles. The first principle is thought. The principle of mentalism. Everything that exists ultimately exists due to thought. The universe is a mental construct. Ultimately, at its base level, it is consciousness. That's the essence of the first Hermetic principle, the first principle of natural law. So, all of creation, all of manifested reality follows two basic thought forms, love and fear. We talked about this very early on in What on Earth is Happening material, which again, that's why I say go back to that, because I recover it in later episodes. I recover basic prerequisite knowledge, and if you didn't really learn it then, it's going to sound like totally new, and you're not going to really have it integrated fully. You may hear it, you may say you understand the words, but it's not about that. It's about a stepwise initiatory progression. It's an initiation into deeper knowledge, that if you get the ABCs, then you're going to be able to come up to the modern stuff and read the whole book. But you can't learn how to read a book unless you learn grammar and spelling first. And that's what the earlier subject matter is about when I was a lot calmer. before the bullshit that happened in our world happened, which I was warning all the fucking morons was going to happen for fucking a decade and a half. Then it happened because the morons didn't listen and actually get to fucking teaching what they needed to teach the other even dumber morons. Do you get it? Why I'm a little bit miffed? Why I'm a little bit perturbed? You know? No, Pasio is just a mean guy. He's just a mean fucking hard ass. That's all. You know? No. I came out, said it real calmly, nicely, peacefully in the early days, and I told people because they were fucking dicking around, that wasn't happening anymore, and the fucking gloves are coming off, and now I'm swinging with bare fists. So, that's what you got. Tough shit. You didn't want to listen when I could have kept it nice. You don't want to fucking listen. Now I'm going to get real fucking hard on your ass. And I'll keep it that way until I am so impressed that I look at the world and I'm like, wow, this shit is changing for the better at an incredibly rapid pace. And then I'll start congratulating you and telling you you're doing a good job. But as of right now, you're fucking up and you're doing a terrible fucking job. Get your ass in gear. Learn the fucking material, start teaching to other fucking people, and then I'll tell you you're doing a good job. In the occult schools of thought, there are two basic forces that flow from love or fear. If you're truly based in the consciousness and thought form of love, you're moving toward evolution. You're moving in the direction that the universe truly wants to push everything. But because it can't just be a unified thing, and we live in a universe based in duality to teach us the lessons between the qualities of different things. You know, this is the principle of polarity. This is the principle of rhythm. This is the principle even of gender. It's a lot of the principles are you know, different aspects of that duality is talked about within these principles of natural law. So you have these two different qualities that are there in thought form to be able to help us to learn the differences between them and learn what we want to express and what we don't want to eventually not only express but to manifest. So love and fear are the basic thought forms, but they manifest as either evolution or, in the occult world, the opposite of evolution, which they call involution. So evolution and involution, as we've also talked about in former podcasts on What on Earth is Happening, are the two major forces that are at work in nature. They are the two top-level universal forces. Love and fear are consciousness forms. They're thought forms that ultimately are going to proceed based in thought and in consciousness what's going to manifest as drives in nature. Is it going to drive things more toward evolutionary progression and more complexification, more learning, more growth, more freedom, etc., more forms that are then created? Or is it going to move in the opposite direction where things stagnate, die, shut down, get curled up in a ball, packed away, put in a suitcase, and tucked under the bed, never to be seen from again? That's the opposite of evolution and moving forward. Okay? That's involution. Some people will call these forces scientific terms, right? These forces of manifestation in the universe, they're manifested in the occult tradition of tarot. They're manifested in the occult tradition of Freemasonry, in Kabbalism, etc. I like the way they're depicted in the tarot myself. If you look at the macrocosmic tree of life in the tarot tradition, laying out the cards, which would be card 11 at the top of the tree of life, going down to card 20 at the bottom of the tree of life. So card 1 is justice in the Keter position. Card 20 is judgment in the Malkuth position on the macrocosmic tree of life. You will find that sitting on either side of the justice card will be the cards that represent evolution and involution. At the right hand of the, quote, father in this tree of life layout will be the card called the Hanged Man. You could look at this as the evolution card. You could look at this as the Messiah card. You could look at this as the, the champion card. You can look at it as the savior, the one that's going to ultimately save you and move you forward. I like to call it the advocate for natural law card, right? That's what I would call it, right? So this is the servant of natural law. The not only the servant, but the one who wants to help it progress. The one who wants to help propagate the knowledge of natural law is the hanged man. The hanged man, it knows that that's going to be his existence, and probably a futile one, and does it anyway because it's right. And that's why that card is seated at the right hand of justice, the Father card. That's the God card. Justice is the God of creation. The universe is a justice machine. You may not see it like that because you don't think there's justice here on the earth, but that's only because people are so fucked up and bad that there's no justice for them. You see? But see, there is justice for them because, as I've said, the universe is working perfectly. Nothing's broken with the universe. What's broken is the bullshit members of this mud species called human beings. That's what's broken. Let's get that perfectly clear. Natural law is functioning perfectly. The justice engine that the universe is functioning perfectly. It's flawless at all times and places in complete perfection. And it's giving us exactly what we deserve. It's giving us slavery. It's giving us death. And maybe we'll get the mercy killing called extinction at some point. Maybe, I could team up with, the rock band from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Somebody can let me know what it was. I remember Hot Black is the guy he's in the band Disaster Area, right? Okay, so at the end of the universe, it's going to be Disaster Area, and they're going to open up for the greatest band in the entire universe, Mercy Comet. My band, Mercy Comet, will be performing at the end of the universe with Disaster Area, and we're just going to sing odes to the justice machine that the universe is, and we're going to end the set with "You Deserved It." It's going to be like a big WWE chant, "You deserve it," when somebody wins a title, right? And all of the slavery, death, extinction, suffering, that's going to be our closing song, "You Deserve It." Because you didn't listen, you didn't learn, you didn't grow, you weren't the hangman serving the justice machine that is the universe. You were the death card that sits at his left hand. And you see, learn through the tarot, a real occult book. You don't even need most of the other books. There's one book you need, and that's the tarot. And that'll tell you everything you need to know if you know how to interpret the symbolism within it. So on this layout, justice is at the top. At the right hand is the hangman. At the left side is the death card, because that represents involution in occult teachings, which means stagnation, death, suffering, not learning, staying stagnant, not serving the force of justice, not moving the universe toward greater things, toward more complexity, more understanding, more life, more freedom. No, you're holding it back. You're holding it and crushing it. You're holding it in a fucking ball, not letting it unfurl and unfold. You're caving it in. You're burying it. That's the force that Satanists serve. Death. Involution. Make no mistake about it. They know that that's what they do. They know that that's what they serve. And damn, are they good at it. They're a lot way better than us. We're saying we're for freedom. We're for evolution. We're for justice. Yeah. Let me tell you something. We're for shit, our side. Let's get that straight. If we were for justice, if we were for evolution, if we were for freedom, that's what we'd be manifesting. The idea that, it just hasn't, we haven't been learning this and doing it for that long. It doesn't take that long, folks. We could have had this problem solved if we were paying fucking attention, but instead we got our thumb up our ass watching dumb fucking children's games like the fucking Super Bowl. And that's what men think makes the men in the fucking world. That's why they're being ruled by the unholy feminine. That's why the society is as fucked up as it is. Because of what men have allowed themselves to become, because of the mind control that women have been put under, that then fucking influence men to be like that. Shove your fucking game up your ass. Little fucking children playing games, watching fucking people play games. Even fucking worse. The second reason Satanists even identify themselves with the quote-unquote Christian devil, they want people to see the symbolism of that, is because they want to associate themselves with the adversarial dynamic within nature, referred to as involution in the occult world, the force which opposes true evolution in consciousness. Represented in the tarot by the death card is the involutionary force, and the true evolutionary force, the servant of natural law card, is the hangman card. And again, the very highest force in all of creation is the justice card. That is the natural law card, the laws of the creator of the universe that rule the natural world. That's why it's a king on his throne, seated as the sovereign of his domain, the universe, and can never be unthrown from that position because it represents the actual set in stone, unchangeable laws of creation, the immutable laws of God that ultimately bring to us the consequence of the behaviors that we choose in life. And we reap what we sow, and we get what we deserve. We don't get what we want, but we always get what we deserve. The word Satan itself comes from the Hebrew word shatan, again originally in a slightly older form, ha-shatan, meaning, shatan means adversary. Again, the adversarial force in nature, involution, the one who crushes the evolutionary force. Or opposer, the opposer of the Christ consciousness, the opposer of God's law, the opposer of real evolution and consciousness, the opposer of good, the opposer of justice. Satanism is ultimately about being opposed, the opposition, the adversary, the Satan, to the true order of natural law, which is the universal laws of morality, which govern behavioral consequences of beings. The word "the" is extraneous there. I should remove it, but mistakes happen. Govern the behavioral consequences of beings who are gifted with the capacity for holistic intelligence and free will. Once again, natural law, being the laws of morality, apply to beings within the cosmos that have the ability to think and reason at the level of higher complexity than base instinctual animals. We have to have the capacity within mind to think and reason to the extent, and having the ability to engage in somewhat complexified thought to be able to reason out the true objective difference between right behavior and wrong behavior. Once we have that capacity, it doesn't mean that we've done it. It means we have the capacity to think that way. Then we are held accountable according to the laws of morality. Animals cannot think that way. So when dumb fuck morons continue to say, well, a lion eats a zebra, so why can't we just eat babies? Because, dumb fuck moron, a lion and a human being do not have the same ability to think and reason. And to understand what is right versus what is wrong, the lion's operating on complete programmed fucking instinct response behavior of a fucking animal, dumb fuck. You want to act and be like a fucking animal? That's what Satanism is. One of the fucking tenets of Satanism, one of the laws of the earth, as they call it, of Satanism, one of the ideas, it's not even the laws, it's the satanic statements. It's what defines what Satanism is. And as a matter of fact, I should step out of the presentation, I should find it, and we should go through it. Okay? To not make the whole presentation about just what Satanism is, because we got tons and tons of material to get to. But I feel like I really should hammer this into people. Okay? So, as a matter of fact, I've read this slide. I don't want to move on. I'm going to step out. I'm going to find, in real time, right here, the 9 satanic statements. Because we're going to read the one that's very important for people to understand regarding exactly what I'm saying right here at this point in the presentation. So, 9 satanic statements. Okay, let's go right to the Church of Satan's own website. Here you see it. I'll make it larger. 9 satanic statements, churchofsatan.com. Okay, right from the horse's mouth, so you don't think I got it from a non-official source. Okay, here they are. Satan represents and just confirming here, here's the URL, churchofsatan.com/9-satanic-statements. Okay, there's their official header there. Okay, this is on their page. The 9 satanic statements originally appeared in the Satanic Bible, 1969, by Anton LaVey. Number 1, Satan represents indulgence instead of abstinence. Number 2, Satan represents vital existence instead of spiritual pipe dreams. Number 3, Satan represents undefiled wisdom instead of hypocritical self-deceit. Number 4, Satan represents kindness to those who deserve it instead of love wasted on ingrates. Number 5, Satan represents vengeance instead of turning the other cheek. Number 6, Satan represents responsibility to the responsible instead of concern for psychic vampires. Number 7, Satan represents man as, this is the one that I wanted to read. Satan represents man as just another animal, sometimes better, but more often worse than those that walk on all fours, who, because of his, quote, divine spiritual and intellectual development, end quote, has become the most vicious animal of all. So it's a misanthropic worldview there. However, I don't necessarily disagree with it except for the very first part. Satan represents man as just another animal. That is what the whole world, to a large extent, has bought in one form or another, that we should be treated no different or seen as no different or held to no higher standard than just any other animal, any other beast of the field. That's what I take significant exception to. And if you think that way, you just might be a Satanist in your mind and in your heart. Number 8, Satan represents all of the so-called sins as they all lead to physical, mental, and emotional gratification. And 9, Satan has been the best friend the church has ever had as he has kept it in business all these years. Make of what you will of any of those. I'm not here to critique all of them now. I wanted to read this particular one, and specifically, simply the very first part that I have highlighted here. Satan represents man as just another animal. This is what all the people who don't understand what natural law is think. This is their ideology because they still have Satanism in their mind and in their heart, and they've been inculcated into this religion without them even knowing that they've been turned into a Satanist. This is one of the core principal tenets of Satanism, is that human beings are no different and should be treated as just another animal. And if you believe that, in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit, you are already a Satanist. That is my point. I'm going to go back to the slides now. So this is the entire point. This is why they want to identify with the adversarial dynamic in nature. And natural law, they want to turn it upside down. They want to invert everything. They want to invert the natural. They want to make it artificial. They want to invert good. They want to turn it into evil. They want to turn evil into good, and vice versa. They want to be the rulers instead of following the natural law of morality. They want to rule in hell rather than serve the Creator. You know, they want to be the kings of a death planet, serving that death force, that death card representing involution. That's the force they ultimately serve. If you see, this is the problem, is people have been so poisoned by bullshit dogmatic religion that they think Satanists get together, dress up in robes and light up a fucking bonfire and do rituals to the devil. They're not serving this idea of an evil deity with a pitchfork and fucking hooves and a pointy tail with horns. They're serving the force of evolution and death. They're a death cult. This is how you have to understand and see them. They're a death cult that put the world into involution instead of evolution because of the occult knowledge about how the human psyche works and can be manipulated that they've held for millennia and are wielding upon the population as a weapon. And the dumb population still remains completely unaware of their methodology and tactics because they're just dumb shits who don't want to ever fucking learn and grow and evolve and take personal responsibility because that's what comes with that knowledge. They want you to see yourself as another animal, and they want you to not accept that natural law governs your behavioral consequences because they want you to associate yourself with a lion tearing into a fucking zebra on the plains of Africa instead of fucking holding yourself and everybody else to a higher moral standard in life and seeing human beings as something that is far higher than a regular fucking beast. But this is what it means to have the mark of the beast in your mind and your fucking heart and in your actions. You've allowed yourself to become a fucking unconscious beast that is just running on a program of fucking instinctive creature behavior. That's it. It's instinctive, animalistic fucking behavior, and you're even identifying yourself as a fucking animal of the field. Anybody that thinks of themselves as just another animal, you're a fucking moron Satanist. You are a fucking moron Satanist. You're a de facto Satanist, whether you understand it or not. If that's how you think, you've bought into Satanism. You've bought into the satanic religious mindset. And it's a mindset. I hear people don't want to understand that other things are religions and fucking belief systems. Atheists still insist they don't have a belief system. Fucking people who worship money still believe they don't have a religion. Believers in authority. I don't have a religion. I just believe that authority's real. That's a religion, loser. You have a belief system about something that you have zero proof exists. Just like fucking atheism is a belief system. Believing that there's no God is not a fucking function of proof. You're just saying what you believe. There's plenty of proof to support the fucking existence of creation, of the force of creation. Whether you want to see that as intelligent, as self-replicating, as self-governing, self-running, or you want to see it as some entity, some mind, or a group mind, or a group consciousness. Doesn't matter how you fucking see it. I'm not here to tell you how to look at that. That's between you and that force. But people don't see the evidence that it creates, that it created all the fucking laws of all matter. It governs everything. Nothing operates that's not operating according to law in some capacity. But that all just fell into place magically. You know, the universe fell into this magical state where everything operates according to law just by accident. There was no design process in that. Because, you know, to do something that complex and to create a computer program, a simulation that's that complex, doesn't require a programmer. It just magically taps itself out and then becomes everything that ever existed. You give me that one and I'll tell you about how everything works. You know, that's the atheist position. But I'm not here to talk about atheism. I'm here to talk about Satanism in this presentation. So let's move on, and I think we got under our belts what Satanism really is. I think I belabored it enough. If you still don't want to fucking understand it, go back to believing your bullshit church definition of fucking Satanism, because yeah, your pastors and fucking your fucking deacons and priests and all your bullshit religionists, they know all about what Satanism is, but an actual priest who was in the Church of Satan doesn't know what fucking Satanism is. But bullshit fucking priests who open up pages of a fucking book that was written by man in the 1st century AD, all changed and edited and fucking, under fucking duress and fucking the point of spears at their fucking throat and swords at their fucking throat in the Council of Nicaea, determine what people are going to be allowed to have and read and access in this book and what they're not. But yeah, all of that's God's word in stone on those pages, and the interpretation of that by your bullshit fucking religious dogmatic priests who are fucking anally raping little boys, they are going to tell you the definition accurately of what Satanism, but somebody who defected from that side, who was actually a clergy member in that religion, I'm lying to you. Go fuck yourself. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, little boy, and you need a fucking big slap in the fucking teeth. You need your teeth all over the fucking ground is what you need. Fucking moron. The war against the goddess is the next section. And again, this is a conceptual idea. No, I don't believe in and worship an externalized deity called the goddess. This is the goddess energy. This is the idea of the sacred feminine. This is the idea of true care. This is the idea of nurturing the sacred masculine, nurturing right action, the nurturing force, the nurturing principle, the one that embodies the feminine concept of creation, the womb, creativity, real care, the development of the heart. Let's get that straight before we even move off of the topic. That's what I'm talking about the war on the goddess as. It's not somebody going after some feminine deity with a magic sword and he's going to decapitate her and cut her head off. This is baby version of fucking a concept. Like, that's just the thing that startles me so badly. It makes me realize we are dealing with a population of retarded children. And I just can't, I have to repeat it cathartically for myself. I got to tell people, how could we exist in a population where I'll put this slide up and you won't even listen to what I'm explaining it as, and then you'll go, Passio's a goddess worshiper. He's like of this Lilith cult, and he believes in all this shit about the Sophia mythos and all. I'm not talking about this as an external deity or anything that's outside of our internal makeup as a being. Can you get that clear? Retarded dumb shits out there? Because again, it's just like the inability to think at any conceptual, symbolic, multi-dimensional level in a way that is associative thinking. This is the problem with dumb shit Prussian-based schooling that's just teaching you to be a dumb fucking worker your whole useless, non-thinking, non-examined life. That's what the school system did to you. That's what the media did to you. That's what the government did to you. You're just a dumb fucking retarded mud creature, golem, an animatized fucking flesh mud robot that can't fucking think outside of your little created fucking boxes. This is your problem. This is all the problem of the dumb shits out there, and I'm talking to some of my audience. If it doesn't apply to you, I'm not talking to you. But it applies the most, I'd say it applies the most of the freedom movement. Without any doubt or any exception, it applies to most people in the freedom movement. They're almost all dumb shits like that. A small percentage of them, maybe a handful, 4 or 5%, really can think on a higher level. And again, this is like social engineers of the past have said. I think it was Shaw or somebody like that who said 95%, that's the end of it. It's like 2% of all human beings are actually capable of thinking. They're actually capable of reason. Like 2% of all of humanity really probably that has ever existed, is actual capable of genuine thought process. 3 additional percent of all human beings believe in their own mind that they know how to think. They don't really know how to think, but they want to imagine themselves as thinkers. I think this is like the freedom movement, right? It's like a very small portion of them, again, they're drawn from the same ratio of the human population, so why would it be any different? About 2% of them actually can think and they can hear what I'm saying. And then another few believe that they understood what I was saying, but they don't. They only believe that they can think on that level, and really way down under the surface, they're absolutely confused, do not understand, did not really get the grammar, did not build the logic in the second step of the trivium to truly understand it, can't do anything worthwhile with it in the rhetoric stage, the third step of the trivium, and they erroneously believe that they got the message when they did not. And that's it. That's the 5% of the freedom movement, with 2% out of the already travesty percentage that exists worldwide. 2% of that actually receives the message. Another 3 believes that they did, and then the social engineer quote is that 95% of the human population would much rather die than ever to think. So 2% are actually capable of thinking. Another additional 3% believe that they can think but really can't. There are people who want to aspire to become thinkers, but maybe they're just too dense. They don't have the fucking actual machinery. They don't have the hardware, or it's so fucking busted that they are never going to get to the point of actually thinking. And then the other 95%, forget it. Soul dead fucking mud creatures that would rather die than think. And I'm telling you, that percentage applies to the whole freedom community, not just the human population at large. It's the same in the whole freedom movement. About 2% can actually hear you and really reason out things, really hear what's being said, and really think about the concept, and maybe have a chance of passing it on down the line. 3% are fucking pseudo-intellectuals that believe that they can understand things when they just don't really have the fucking hardware to do it, or they haven't developed the hardware enough to do it. They haven't actually trained and done any fucking lifting, and they're fucking weak-minded, and so they just graft onto things, and they don't really understand them, and then they can't really do anything with them. And then the other 95%, they're just fucking followers, incapable of thinking. They'd rather die than think. They want somebody else to do their thinking for them. So, again, you want to prove you're not in that fucking 98% of dumbasses? Understand what I'm saying instead of thinking what you want to hear in your fucking chattering ego fucking brain. So let's look at the strategies, the techniques, the war, this whole section, this whole thing that I'm going to lay out, and all these different aspects are all a war on the sacred feminine. It's an aspect of the personality of all beings. It's not just women, it's men too. You should have, if you're even a man, the sacred feminine aspect within yourself. That's the aspect of true care. The reason I sit here on Sunday is because of the sacred feminine dynamic. Do you think I want to fucking sit here and teach shit that I know like the fucking back of my hand? I could fucking teach this backwards in my sleep, blindfolded, laying on a bed, never having to fucking get up, and I forgot more material than most people will ever fucking learn. And you think that's egotistical? You don't know what I've taken in. I'm not talking out my ass either. I've taken in so much knowledge, so much data, that I've said it many times, it's frightening to me. I look at it like, Jesus fucking Christ, I think I'm some kind of fucking crazy machine with the amount of data that I've taken in. I have forgotten more about this than most people will ever learn. Let's get that clear, okay? So, I don't need to be here. The very reason that I do this and go through the fucking bullshit to set this fucking show up every Sunday and deliver it and try to teach people is because of having the sacred feminine dynamic of true care in my fucking heart. You don't want to see it like that or think of it like that because I have a lot of masculine energy and come at people direct. Yeah, that's the sacred masculine. But don't try to say I don't have the sacred feminine developed. I wouldn't fucking be here at all if I didn't. I wouldn't do this shit, this fucking unrewarding work for hardly any result, for the little piss shit result that it has gotten, which isn't nearly fucking enough to move the fucking weight that needs to be moved. It's largely a lost cause and a lost effort. I'm under no delusions that the idiots in the freedom movement out there, we're winning! Wait, let me see if I can get this right. Hold on. We're winning! Is that good? Did I get that good? It's about exactly what they sound like. We're winning! Hold on a second. Wait, let's add some musical accompaniment. We're winning! Yeah, you're winning. Yep. Here's the second verse. We're winning! There's verse 2. You guys are fucking clown shoes. You're not even fucking clowns. You're sweaty, smelly, disgusting fucking clown shoes. That's what you are. Okay? You can't think associatively. You can't think multidimensionally. You can't think symbolically. And your masters can. And that's why they're genociding you. That's why they're culling you. Because you're a dumb fucking sheep that bought into the bullshit of religion, that bought into the bullshit of authority, that bought into the bullshit of government, that bought into the bullshit of money, and you can't get your mind out of these fucking traps that the globalist Satanists have set for you. You're weak. You're weak fucking golems that can't and won't think. So understand, the goddess is a form of energy. It's a form of a characteristic within a being that exists in both genders, both sexes, male and female. And they're trying to destroy it in both genders of humanity. So let's look at some of... This is another way of looking at this war, okay? And specifically related to the neo-feminism topic, which is a satanic agenda, this is how I'm defining it as a working definition. This is the war against the goddess, the war upon the sacred feminine. That's the main title there. The war on the goddess, the war on the sacred feminine aspects of the human personality that contains the sacred feminine energy. Or, in other words, specifically related to the programming that is directed at women in this neo-feminism agenda, this section is about what modern women are being socially engineered to think, to want, and to be, and the effects of that social engineering upon all of human society. So, I want to take this part slow. I want to re-explain the working definition here and pick apart aspects of it and what it means. This is epi-eugenics, or as I've coined it, epidysgenics. Through the mind, what they are teaching and inculcating people through their satanic belief system, worldwide network, religion, however you want to look at it, their worldview that they're giving people and inculcating them into, they are epidysgenically socially engineering all of human society, meaning they're doing the manipulation through the mind and mind control techniques, social engineering, and the outcome that they're getting is actually making people weaker, less intelligent, less driven, less caring, destroying the sacred feminine dynamic of caring enough to do something, and making society into a perfect, degenerate, slaved society. It is a perfect enslavement society caused by the degeneration or dysgenics waged upon the human population. So let's go through this working definition of what pretty much the rest of this presentation is about. The war against the sacred feminine. Or in other words, what modern women, the women of today's society, not to say that this isn't an ancient agenda, but this particular neo-feminism agenda that we're going to completely dismantle and take apart and analyze every part of it, every piece of it, going forward over the next few weeks. It's what modern women are being socially engineered by the satanic social engineering priest class to think, that's where it all starts in the mind, to want how they can manipulate their desires, what they believe they want, but that belief of desire of what they should want is actually implanted into them by the social engineer priest class. Again, we're going to talk about that. We're going to actually look at and examine things by social engineers themselves who have said these things, that they mold our tastes, they mold our opinions, they mold our minds and what we think and the information we have access to. And so what do you think? They're not molding opinions, desires, wants, what people call their desires and what they want, and what they see as reasonable, what they see as attractive, what they see as necessary, etc. All of the, not some of these things are socially conditioned. All of them are socially conditioned. No part of it is the natural world, folks. See, this is what I hear over and over again by idiots. That's just biology, Mark. That's just thousands and thousands of years of human evolutionary biology. Hold on a minute. We have in studio today, folks, the expert. We have the expert in-house. I knew he would be required, so I made some prearrangements. I invited him here, and here he is. Mark, don't you know that you didn't get the memo? You didn't get the email? The way people behave, it's all just driven by millennia of biological development in Darwinian evolution. And that's why people act the way that they act. And there's nothing ever that can be done about that, because that's just how people's genetics work. And that's just how they're genetically programmed. And they're just slaves to those genetics. And they just behave like that because that's the way their genes were designed. This is the fucking total imbecile moron out there, day after day after day, who I have to hear their fucking nonsensical, ill-read opinions, that think they know what the fuck's going on, and they've never even heard of epigenetics. Never heard of it, never read anything into it, never read one fucking book, never read one paper, never listened to one lecture, and I've almost exhausted material on this to learn how it really works, and it's driven by the mind and the consciousness, and we're not at the mercy of genes, and we're not just fucking computer code that is just absolutely unchangeable, and our genes direct it all, and we're just fucking flesh robots. We're not that. We have a choice. We have the ability to change it. We have the ability to write and add to the fucking story and make the story better and make it come out the way we actually want it to come out instead of being slaves to fucking biology. If you think humans are slaves to biology, shut the fucking show off. You're a dumb motherfucker. You're never going to learn. You don't want to fucking learn. If you're intent in staying attached to that bullshit, disproven, 150-year-old disproven model, it's pseudoscience, you dumb jackass. You haven't done the fucking homework. You're not privy to the new shit, man, as the dude would tell you. Go back and watch The Big Lebowski and hear the biggest line in the fucking movie. You're not privy to the new shit, man. You haven't done your fucking homework. You haven't done your fucking reading. You're shoving 150-year-old science up your ass until it hits your fucking throat and comes out your mouth in your bullshit diarrhea speech. You got an ill-informed 150-year-old bullshit opinion. that's religiously, dogmatically derived and then latched onto by these social engineers because they want to inculcate you with it so you still act like a dumb fucking slave that you are. Mud creature. So sick of how fucking stupid people willfully remain. I have shit going on and I'm here to teach dumbasses who don't want to learn. And then people want to say, you shouldn't get that worked up and mad, Mark. You haven't lived my life, you dumb fuck. Shut your fucking mouth. You don't know why I'm mad or how much right I have to be as mad as I am with what I've fucking done. You don't know a fucking shit about me. Not a fucking shit. And I'm tired of people thinking that they do know me when they don't know shit about who I am or what I go through to do this shit. Thankless bullshit from dumb fucks who don't want to learn because your ego's in the way, you dumb fuck. The working definition, the war on the goddess, the war on the sacred feminine, what modern women are being socially engineered to think, to want, and to be, and the effects of that social engineering upon all of human society. That's what the rest of this presentation is about. Know the things that the way people think, especially women in our modern society, are not driven by genes and by human biology. If you think that, that's why you're under satanic mind control programming. That's why you're a dumb shit who's never read into epigenetics. That's why you're a dumb shit that doesn't know about social engineering. That's why you're a dumb shit who has zero idea about epieugenics/epidysgenics. If you really want to get into what's going on in this world, it is an epidysgenics agenda. Dysgenics. The dumbing down and ultimate eventual culling of the population driven by mind control tactics and then actually engaged in and upon the population intended to be culled so that they do it to themselves. Imagine being such an advanced social engineer and mind controlling sorcerer that you want to actually wage a war against the rest of the population, but you've developed the strategy. I don't have to kill anybody. I don't even have to get other people as or structured and organized directly under me that they might even be able to see, hey, they're working for you. I don't even have to get those people to do the killing as kings and queens of the ancient past did. They would assemble their armies, their henchmen, and you don't want to do my bidding? You don't want to, society's not coming out the way I want it? Now I sick all my fucking henchmen to go to war on you and cull your fucking slave population. You're my slaves. I'm going to send my henchmen, my fucking soldiers, my, bullshit, false, masculine, so-called warriors that are nothing but fucking order-following cowards to go and cull the population for me as the king or queen, royalty. They don't need to do that anymore. They don't really need to do that anymore and wage physical war. They don't need to put the fucking whole agenda potentially on the line by making people see, oh, those are your henchmen. They work for you. They're not for the people. They don't even need to do that anymore, folks. Even that level of coming out in the open exposes them to the extent where they can get taken down. So they've reformulated the strategy. Epidysgenics means we're going to cull this population by getting them so fucked up in the mind, in what they think, believe, and are attached to in their mental processes, that they're going to cull themselves. They're going to cull themselves for us. Could you imagine? That's how dumb they got people? That's how smart they are, and that's how dumb they got the whole fucking population. that the population is actually doing their work for them, culling their own population numbers based on the social engineering of how they've been made to think by the priest class. It's brilliant strategy on the part of the Satanists. And this is exactly how the modern world works. And the population is too fucking dumbed down to see it. It's a horror movie in slow motion is what it is. It's a horror movie playing at 2 frames a second. That's what it is. And being powerless practically to fucking change the fucking story. Because everybody's looking at the screen and screaming, why is it like this? Instead of going back to the projector, which is the underlying fucking causes, and changing their thoughts so something fucking different manifests on the screen. No, they don't want to do that. They want to stay attached to their same shit thoughts. In their shit for brain fucking brain head, and they want to fucking continue to think, I can magically fucking make it change, but I never change the fucking thing about my mind or myself. Enjoy what you have. It's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse until the day you fucking die, and you're going to deserve it. Because you don't want to change your fucking thoughts. You want to believe in your own ego bullshit that you're right, and you don't want to learn what's real and true. And that applies to the people who watch this fucking program too. Some of you get it, but it's a piss-ass handful. A piss-ant handful. Compared to how many people actually tune in, and you're just dumb fucking morons that want to sit in a fucking chat instead of actually try to learn. Instead of show up, be present, listen to what's actually being said, read the fucking words that are actually on the slides, and learn something and evolve. No, you don't want to do that. You want to splat out your fucking diarrhea as an anonymous coward on a keyboard. Why do the social engineer class specifically target women? As a satanic agenda, why are the Satanists specifically directing their efforts in this regard with women? If possible, maybe a refill on this. If that's good, thank you. So, people don't understand, and I'm going to say, I feel that women don't understand in the modern day how much power they exert over society. And even ones who do realize the type of influence, quote, power, let's use the word influence. It shouldn't even be viewed as power, because power is like making someone do something maybe that they don't even want to do. Real, genuine power is the ability to affect things for the better, right? So we can look at it in that sense as long as we give the caveat or qualify the statement that genuine power, not worldly power used for the ego, used for self-gratifying purposes, but genuine cosmic power, spiritual power, is the ability to influence and direct the world into a direction that is actually a good thing, that actually does make humanity stronger, that does move us up the evolutionary progression of consciousness, that does actually align with morality and natural law. Thank you. And that kind of power is real and genuine. I feel that while women can extrapolate that they can have influence over men, they want to try, most of them, and we're going to use generalizations here. This is not going to be a women bashing marathon. This is not going to be a men bashing marathon. It's not going to even be a human bashing marathon. It's going to be a dumb person bashing marathon. That much it's definitely going to be. But I'm going to use generalizations, and as I've said, you're going to have to accept the generalizations. When I say modern women, I mean most people of today's society who are biologically female in our culture, in worldwide culture. Let's just set that as a basic working definition. That's what I'm referring to as modern women. Okay? And it means most of them. And let's just say it means overwhelmingly most of them. It's not everyone, but it's almost everyone. It's 99.999%. And a small percentage of the whole global human population does understand this technique, does understand the satanic agenda of it, does understand how most women in the world are being used. 99.999% do not. So I am talking about those women. It's a generalization. It means almost all of them, and you're going to have to accept that generalization. Okay? It's not a blanket statement. It doesn't mean no women understand this. No women have built their immunity to this and are outside of it. Very few have. Very few men understand this. Very few men have built their immunity to it. This is why I'm bringing this back out after I delivered it 8 years ago, because it's not understood. It's not integrated. Most people fall for the same techniques. They've done no psychic self-defense. They've done no psychic improvement upon their mental defensive shielding. They haven't built up any fucking muscle to take a fucking punch, to take a fucking hit. In these tactics and techniques of social engineering and programming. The world is largely the same, if not much worse than it was 8 years ago, according to these exact dynamics. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel it was important to continue to go over this and do it in an extended way. The world's gotten way worse in the familial dynamic and in the interaction and cooperation between men and women. The divide is way bigger. It's a chasm. It's miles wide. The chasm has opened and widened since the year 2016 when I delivered this presentation initially. Miles wide. When we should have narrowed the gap. We should have come together. We should have learned a lot about how this dynamic works and prevented it. And we didn't do any of it. So, why specifically do the social engineers, do the sorcerers of human consciousness, the satanic priest class that are globalists and want a system of slavery, a worldwide, unified, uni-system of slavery? That's the one world type of government that they seek. That's their agenda. That's the globalist agenda. The esoteric agenda of the globalists that is based in Satanism and satanic ideology. Why does that priest class that's running our world specifically want to target the consciousness of females in our society? Here's why. Since women possess the capacity for influencing men, most men, again, another generalization, not all of them, but most of them, the vast overwhelming majority of them, I would say, will adjust their attitudes and behaviors to conform to women's likes and preferences. Most men will do this. They will do the things that women want to do to get a woman, to have a woman be attracted to them. They will dress the way women want them to dress. They will say the things women want them to say. They will adjust their attitudes to things in the world because women want them to feel like that and think like that, or they won't be around them or have anything to do with them. And they'll adjust their behaviors to conform to the woman's likes and preferences. Especially they'll do this if the truth stands in the way of them coming together with the woman that they want to get together with. Most men will say, fuck the truth, fuck what's real, fuck real knowledge, fuck a true understanding of this dynamic through hard work, research, complexity, instead of looking at it from a unidimensional simpleton point of view. No. The woman feels like this, she's uncomfortable. If I bring it up, she's uncomfortable. If I say, no, that's not how it is, I'll just go along with the whatever fucking bullshit this person thinks because they've been socially conditioned to think that way, and then I'll pretend to be that person even if I know it's not correct or true just to get what I want out of the quote-unquote relationship, which isn't a relationship at all. It's bullshit. Okay? I talked about what a real relationship is in an earlier episode of What on Earth is Happening. I may go back and bring those slides back out and talk about that. because a relationship isn't a true relationship unless it's based in dynamics of truth. It has to be based on what is true and real. And the less it's an actual coming together and a forging of a true familial bond, again, not family bond, but familial bond. Again, as I see it, familial is the highest form of connection in human society, a familial connection. And the strongest familial bond is between men and women. That's why they want to break that bond, because that devastates the familial connection. And that doesn't mean just family from a perspective of nuclear family, men and women marrying, living together, having children. I'm not attacking the family dynamic, but that's not specifically what I'm talking about when I say the term familial dynamic. So familial is a higher level. Look at it in the forms of love, right? You have eros down here, romantic love. Then above that, you have philos, which is love of brother and sister, love of human beings. And then above that, agape. Those are the three main forms of love, okay? So eros is just romantic physical love between man and woman, right? That's part of the familial dynamic, but the familial dynamic encompasses all of these, because above that, you have brotherly love, sisterly love, love of fellow human beings in the human family. That's philos. Then above that, agape. That's the familial bond. That's the real familial dynamic that we're talking about, that is strengthened when the dynamics between men and women in our society are strong. Agape eventually develops because if it's a true familial dynamic relationship and the relationship is based in truth, it's going to be based on higher love. Not just eros or even philos. It's going to be based on agape, which is love for truth, care for truth. Again, that's the familial dynamic that is the sacred feminine, that is a heart-based intelligence that the satanic agenda of neo-feminism is trying to destroy. That's the dynamic they are attacking at all times and places in society, because they know their agenda is toast. It's completely devastated if the familial dynamic is preserved and strong between men and women in human society. Continuing. Therefore, if the ruling class can influence the minds of most women, the men and the children of a society will ultimately follow that lead, that influential lead, that if they get the woman, they're going to get the men's mind, because the man's going to be influenced by what the woman wants and try to become that. And then children, when they are born of a connection between that man and woman, are going to then have those characteristics bred into them by the parents, by what the parents do and don't do alike. Okay? They understand that's how it works, and that's the dynamic they are continuously playing into with this agenda. Because ultimately they're trying to inject into the human population the traits and characteristics that the globalist masters want to see, and breed out of the new generations of people all of the traits and characteristics that don't serve their agenda or don't make it easy for them to create and enforce their agenda. That's what eugenics, or as is more accurate in this case, epidysgenics is. Through mind control and mental influencing and social engineering, you are getting the target population to perform dysgenics upon itself and inject into the gene pool that is being perpetuated all of the characteristics that the masters want to see in the new population of society, and you're breeding out all of the characteristics that they think are a danger to them. And let me tell you something, folks. These people are chess champions at doing this. They know every dynamic about how it works, and the dumb shit for brains population knows almost zero of how this agenda works. Not only don't they know how it works, they are committed to willful ignorance and insist, no, this isn't true. No, this isn't happening. No, it's not real. No, I'm not affected. No, my mindset is absolutely my thoughts and was never fucking affected or conditioned by social engineers. Get the fuck out of here, you dumbass piece of fucking trash. Stupid fucking dumbass piece of trash who's never read a fucking book is going to tell me and fucking people who are actually trying to expose this and explain to you how it fucking works that all of the years of my hard-won knowledge doesn't amount to shit for your uninformed, brainwashed fucking opinion. Go fuck yourself. You're not going to tell me that. You could tell that to some dumb fucking punk-ass bitch on the fucking corner, but you ain't going to tell it to me. Go tell it to some fucking little fucking prick fucking bitch boy. But you ain't telling it to fucking Mark Passio, because I know what I fucking know. I know the work that I did to fucking learn what I learned. You go and tell it to some other dumb fuck. I'm not a dumb fuck. I know what I'm fucking talking about. I'm one of the most intelligent people fucking alive when it comes to this agenda. So go tell that to some other ill-informed loser like yourself. But you ain't going to tell me that I don't have the knowledge that I have. Because I want it with sacrifice of my life. That I could have done a lot more fucking selfish things that I wanted to do, but I didn't, to do this shit. To teach the fucking egotistical pricks that don't want to learn and want to tell me I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. You got your opinion from the television, you little shit. That's where you got your fucking opinion. And some bullshit fucking magazines and bullshit shows that you watch. Additionally, women ultimately control at a biological level the human procreation process by way of their control over the selection of males with whom they choose to reproduce. And once again, people hear this and say, well, how else would you advocate for it to be? Would you advocate that men just rape women and just have children with them forcibly? No, ass. I'm not saying that. This is what I've actually heard people say. What are you saying in this slide? You saying men should just rape women so they control the biological fucking procreation process? No, dumb shit. That's you hearing what you think you fucking want to hear. You're not hearing what I'm saying. Women ultimately control at a biological level the human procreation process because they're going to decide who they want to have a child with, largely. Obviously, outside matters of rape, that's largely the case in human society, is that women are going to determine what the next generation is going to basically look like because they're going to decide who they want to have a child with. The social engineer class wants to control the likes and preferences that exist in women's mind so that they can control the characteristics of that breeding process and the characteristics that are going to come down into the next generation of human beings so that they have an easier time controlling the human herd. You don't want a lot of brave, courageous, intelligent, driven people coming out of a byproduct between men and women. You want ignorant, lazy, cowardly people who don't want to really do anything with their time, energy, and effort to truly change society for the better. You want people who watch life like it's taking place passively on a fucking television screen. Why do you think we have the kind of population that we have in the younger population? Because of good parenting that had really great ideas and thought clearly and really understood how the world works? Or did we have dumb fucking ill-informed parents that shat out a bunch of fucking kids who became fucking weaklings? Who became ignorant, lazy, cowardly weaklings that aren't going to stand up to the fucking globalists and their fucking henchmen. They're not going to stand up to these Satanists and their fucking sick fucking psychopathic henchmen. They're going to let them run roughshod all over fucking society and turn it into a fucking prison tyranny. Just people are just such dumb fucks. They just don't want to understand how any part of it works. Because to acknowledge that is to acknowledge horror, and then to acknowledge that and really learn how it works is to take your place and fucking trying to do something to reverse it, and that involves personal responsibility and sacrifice. And that's the thing that most fucking dumb fucking adults who are just really cosmic children want no fucking part of. They want somebody else to clean up their shit for them. Clean your own shit up. Clean your fucking mind up, clean your fucking environment up, clean your fucking thoughts up, clean your fucking teaching methods up, clean your understanding of technology up so you can go out and fucking teach, moron. Fucking children. I'm on a team of fucking incompetent children who can't even hear my fucking words, largely because they're so fucking dumb. So taking both of these factors into consideration, men are going to follow women's likes and preferences and then sort of try to become what the women want them to be because of the conditioning they've received. And then women are going to control at the biological level who they want to have a child with and therefore what characteristics are bred down into the next generation of human beings. And even expressed at the current generation. Make no mistake of that. Taking both of these factors into consideration, it is women who ultimately decide which traits and characteristics are passed down to future generations of humanity. Let me say that again. This is the answer to the question, why do the social engineers want to truly target women? It is women who will ultimately decide which traits and characteristics are passed down to future generations of humanity. But is it them who are actually doing it? No. They are a programmed vessel for doing that process through the satanic social engineers who inculcate them into their mindset of their likes, preferences, desires, etc. Do you get it? Let me say it again for the fucking slow, retarded people in the back. Listen. Yes, ultimately, the social engineers want to target women because they are going to ultimately decide which traits and characteristics are passed down to future generations of humanity. So if the social engineers want to ultimately usurp that process, they have to get into the mind of the women first and foremost. It's the most important thing to them so that they can influence their likes, preferences, and desires and therefore highly influence their choices. Therefore, they're going to highly influence the characteristics and traits that get expressed in the next generation of human beings. This is not my opinion of how it works. This is not a theory. This is not me speculating. This is me having been on the inside working with these social engineers and helping them do this. The things that I learned about how they manipulate the human herd, I'm trying to bring you that playbook. I'm trying to bring you those tactics, those methodologies. I'm the guy on the other side of the football field in the big game who just defected from the other team, and I got the whole playbook, and they don't have time to change the playbook if we look at it right now in the moment while the game is being played and see they're going to run these plays. They can't come up with anything new on the spot. This is what they've practiced. This is what they know. They're not going to adjust this as an audible, mid game. They're not going to call an audible. They're going to stick to their plan. That's what they always do because it's always worked. If we learn the fucking plan and we don't fall for it, we have a real serious chance of not being victim to it. But that involves learning how it really works and getting the fucking ego out of the way. This is the problem. Most people are going to refuse to do that. And I'm not saying that to be negative. I'm saying that because I know the depth of their programming and I know how fucking deeply attached to thinking in the rigid, bullshit, dogmatic ways that people think that they're going to die in that condition. They're not going to repent. They're not going to say I was wrong. They're not going to say, you know what, I really got fucking duped and I was a fucking idiot asshole for believing in all that bullshit. That's what I had to say coming out of Satanism. I was a fucking idiot, moronic, duped asshole that bought into a bunch of fucking bullshit that wasn't real. That was completely untrue and was bad for me and everybody else. And I bought it and I swallowed it for a fucking time. And finally, I realized I ain't doing nothing but fucking poison myself and everybody else around me. Instead of trying to fucking learn what the truth is and then teaching that. That's why this is my karma, because I ideologically fucking poison people, which is arguably worse than physically poisoning them. As a matter of fact, not arguably, it is. That's why, like, what creation said to me is, hey, you're gonna fucking go and do this as your fucking penance, as your fucking making up for all the fucking minds you poisoned in the past and fucking working toward this fucking satanic agenda. And, it's going to be hell. It's going to be your fucking punishment for the rest of your fucking life. It's basically what it has amounted to. Teaching the unteachable. So this is the dynamic. And let me point you to, the two images on this slide, I feel, are defining images for the whole presentation. They're defining images. Picture the scared woman in the right-hand graphic as originally embodying the potential for the sacred feminine. She could have been a truly good person. She could have been a very truly good woman. And the sorcerer got her. The mind control got her. And usually it doesn't happen at this age. This is a false depiction, folks. Just understand this is just supposed to be a general imagery. Sometimes, look, I wish AI was better because I've tried to use some of it and the images that it comes up with are shit. When I mean shit, I mean they're just dumb. AI, you're dumb, son. You're just dumb. Okay, to quote Fred Sanford. Okay? It's not intelligent at all. It's garbage programming that spits out garbage most of the time. I'm not saying there can't be instances where it can be used creatively, but what I've seen of it, I just really don't even touch it because it's so disappointing. Like people who think that it's good, I don't know where that mindset is at because I try to just get it to give me an image that I could use in a presentation and just describe simple things. And yeah, I know how to describe something. It's not my fucking input. All right. I've had people tell me that it's just how you're typing it. No, it isn't, fuckface. It's shit. It's just shit technology. Okay. And people who are worried about it, I have even more concerns about them. That you're worried about, that it can't even give me a fucking image that I'm describing very clearly, and it just throws out whatever the fuck it wants. Because the algorithms programmed into it are only as good as the fucking morons who programmed it. Don't worry about AI taking over the fucking world. Worry about dumb fucking people letting the world get fucking taken over. And that already happened. You want something to worry about that, because that happened past tense. So going back to this image on the right, let's get it clear. It doesn't happen at this age when the woman's in her mid-20s or something. It happens much earlier. Much, much earlier. And as a matter of fact, when it happens, it's actually from the time the person is born up through about 7 years of age. That's when the darkest sorcery is implanted into a child. Further social engineering happens in schooling. Further social engineering happens through media. Further social engineering happens through government and its agencies of mind control and social control, societal influence. But make no mistake, it starts when the person is born and proceeds up to about 7 years of age, when they're in what is called the formative years of their mental development, laying the format for the mindset, like you would put a format onto a storage drive before you copy information into it. I put a format on the ARC drive. When somebody sends me the ARC drive for putting the data onto it, I format the drive. That means I have to decide, how do I want the information read and utilized on computer systems. So if there was going to be exclusively used on a Windows computer, I might format it as the NT file system, what's known as NTFS. Okay? I don't want it just available on Windows. I want it available on all platforms. So I wouldn't format it Mac OS format, or now what they call APFS, the Apple file system, because then it'll only work on a Mac. I want it to work on Windows, on Mac, on Linux, on all platforms. So I find the format that's going to work for that. It's like laying down the mindset of the child in the formative years of their development. And I put down onto the drive the exFAT format, the extended file allocation table, something to that effect. And basically that allows me to then copy the data to it, and the drive's going to be able to be read and written to from Windows, from Mac OS, from Linux, just about any variation of Linux, or, flavor, or distro as they call them. The point is, that's the format. It prepares the drive for the information and then for the use that it's going to be utilized for. That's just what the type of social engineering that goes into a child, that should be actually conducted in a responsible way and done by parents, teachers, society members, and give them information in their formative years, that's going to prepare them to go out and do good things in society based upon an accurate understanding of morality and natural law. We don't put the format into the child for the purpose of doing good things. The social engineer, sorcerer, is laying the format into the child to do complete horror show things when they become older. And then people like me, who are trying to explain to them how wrong their mentality, their ideology, their programming has been, I'm behind the fucking 8 ball, because now we got years and years and years and years of deprogramming to decondition them from it, let alone giving them the real information. They're in what I call negative knowledge. They not only have not one bit of the truth under their fucking belt, they got a hole of lies that they've dug 1,000 fucking feet deep, and they have no ladder to climb out of the big fucking ditch of lies that they got dug into, and that they allowed themselves to be fucking dug and thrown into. That's how social engineering works. It puts people at a significant disadvantage by getting to them early in their formative years, giving them fucking false constructural ideas of the mind that have nothing to do with reality and nature, and then they latch onto it with religious fervor, and they're off to the fucking races, creating chaos in all endeavors of human society. The things that people fucking believe, it's unimaginable, the things that they are attached to believing. That's why people hate my work, folks. I'm under no delusion that I'm a liked person. I'm under no delusion that I'm popular. I'm never going to get any more popular than I am. And you could say that's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and that's me being a defeatist or being black-pilled. I don't give a fuck what you say. I know where people are at. I can gauge consciousness. I do it better than almost anybody alive. And I can tell you, they hate my information. I attack all the programming. And most people are highly programmed, so they don't want to hear that fucking attack on their fucking religion, their bullshit programming, your religious fucking mindset that you're attached to like a maggot eating dead flesh. That's what most people are. They're maggots attached to, clinging onto that dead flesh, and I gotta get it down my fucking gullet. Put a fucking hose down there. Give me a fucking fire truck hose to jam it down my fucking throat and turn that fucker on full blast. I can't get it down my gullet fast enough. That's where most people are at with their fucking bullshit dogmatic belief systems. That's why they don't like me. Because I'll tell the fucking right-winger just like I'll tell the fucking leftist asshole, you're both pieces of fucking dumb and moral trash. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you're programmed by your bullshit government belief system religions. That's why nobody likes me. I'm telling fucking men, you're fucking completely fucking programmed by the things you think. Women, you're completely programmed by the fucking things you think. Don't believe everything you think. It's almost always bullshit, and it was almost always put there by the Satanists. That's why nobody likes me, because I'm deconditioned from those fucking things, and I'm telling them, you're not. You're not deconditioned. You want to believe you are. You're still under the fucking mind control, dumbass. You're still under it. What you need is you need to blast yourself the fuck out into the mushroom kingdom is what you need. You need 5 dried grams of psilocybin and get that down your fucking gullet and then fucking go talk to fucking God for a few hours and then you'll see how fucking wrong you are. You know, you need to get DMT fucking blasted down your fucking lungs so you can fucking actually see the fucking wiring under the board in the fucking whole state of consciousness that is this universe, and maybe you'll come back a little bit fucking more intelligent. Maybe. The problem is we ain't going to do it ourselves, folks. We need intervention. We need fucking help because we're weak. We're weak-minded. We're attached to bullshit. We have no intention of bettering ourselves. Almost all of humanity is in that condition right now. And I tend to have been really going back to the works and teachings of Terence McKenna lately. Go say whatever the fuck you want about him. All the fucking secret agent men are going to be like, he was a member of the CIA. No, he wasn't. He was a CIA asset for a short amount of time and then told them to go fuck themselves when they insisted that he do more asset work for them. If you really understand it from a multi-dimensional, higher level of complexity approach, then as soon as someone does anything for the CIA, they're in the CIA and they can never leave. It's not how it works, dumb fucking children. It's like all the religious fuck morons. You religiously fucked morons say, once you're in Satanism, you can never get out. You have no idea how it works, loser. You were never there. You don't know how it fucking works. And you're an idiot. They don't give a fuck about 9/10 of the fucking people that ever got involved with them because they can't really help them. They're not intelligent enough or driven enough to help them with their fucking agenda. Dumb fuck. You think they give a fuck about everybody they ever worked with and are up their ass? Oh, Jim from out there in Anaheim, California. You really got to come back to the fucking ritual house because we're not happy with the performance, and you couldn't really help us out with this, but we're going to be up your ass all day. We're not just going to go fucking pay somebody else. We want to do it with all of our fucking trillions. No, we got to hang on you, man. Don't you know that's how it works? They're always up somebody's ass to do things for them. They don't need to be up anybody's ass. They have just about everybody at their disposal because they have endless money at their disposal, and most fucking people in this shit fucking world will do anything for an amount of money, no matter how immoral it is or who it hurts. That's how it works. It doesn't work by saying, oh, he doesn't want to do the job. Oh, well, get up his ass and make him do it. And go assassinate him if he doesn't want to fucking stay with us. They don't work like that, loser. You're dumb. You're just dumb, son. You think it works like all the fucking bullshit Hollywood movies you fucking saw. You're dumb. You have no life experience. You never did anything in the world. You never fucking tried to fucking learn anything. You're just dumb. I go back to the works and teachings of Terence McKenna because he was saying something that I find very, very, very true. We're not strong enough to do it ourselves. We have to have some fucking help. And the thing that breaks down rigidly dogmatic, incorrect thought structures is psychedelic plants. And again, I'm not advocating for their indiscriminate, unconditional, non-conscious use. That is the worst thing you could do with psychedelic medicine. I'm saying that if you take it in a proper, conscious context, maybe it can break down your bullshit belief systems that you're still clinging on to like a fucking maggot eating a dead body. They're poisonous, and as George Carlin said, it's bad for you. It's just fucking bad for you. And that's what we keep eating, drinking, and swallowing. We're eating, drinking, and breathing the toxic fucking poison. And believing it's good for us when it's bad for us. It's killing us. And sometimes a person's never going to come out of that state of consciousness. They're going to die like that. And they're going to do a lot of harm in the world before they die like that. And I go back to one of the things I think McKenna said that was one of the greatest things I've ever heard him say is when a culture, a civilization truly gets into really bad trouble, and make no mistake, we're in really, really fucking bad, terrible trouble. They try to go back to the last sane moment that they ever knew. And that is what I think psychedelics does, is it lets us look at the conditioning. I wouldn't even use the word lets. It forces us to look at the conditioning, harshly forces us. That's why they're scary. Let's face it, they're scary to most people. Because it doesn't say, they don't say, would you like to look at this? No. It takes your face and put it in the fucking toilet bowl. You're going to fucking look at that, motherfucker. That's what they do. They're very forceful medicines for the mind. You know, they're grabbing you by the back of the fucking head and they're pushing your face in the fucking toilet bowl. And they're saying, you're going to fucking look at that. You're going to fucking look at it until you understand what it is and why it's that way. And most people don't want to do that. But I think we're at the point where we're in such dogmatic religious structures of the mind that we are never going to come out of that on our own. We need assistance through nature. We have to take medicines that are here on this planet for specific reasons, and those are medicines that decondition socially constructed worldviews that are bad for you. But again, just taking them indiscriminately is not going to do that. You have to be able to work with those substances in a conscious context, specifically to find how you're programmed and then deprogram. Can they help do that? Yes, they can. For people who are an adult about studying their potential uses that are correct conscious uses versus taking them to party and escape, which is not what I'm advocating for, they are absolutely capable of those deconditioning processes. Most people never get there. Most people never use them that way. These things do not have an owner's manual. They don't have an operations manual. You know, you have to fucking set the proper intention and setting in the mind. Okay? So just throwing that out there, that have really, really been finding Terence McKenna's work super helpful, particularly if you apply it to this work, to the unholy feminine. If you really understand what he's saying, it goes hand in hand, like hand in glove. I can't say enough about that. So, let's move on. Are your likes truly your own? This is what people have to examine. This is what social engineering is and does. It gives you false beliefs. It gives you false preferences. It gives you false perception. And then you are actually becoming a person that you would not naturally, ordinarily become, because the social engineer is actually guiding your development and how you think. There are so many people in the world that are mind controlled this way, that are socially engineered this way, that it's not a matter of asking who is socially engineered. It's a matter of asking who isn't. It's a tiny piss-ass percentage of people who are not completely owned by the social engineers mentally. What qualities do you find attractive in another person? Is it possible that such likes and preferences could be implanted into your belief system? It might surprise and even disturb most people to think that such aspects of their personality may not actually be on their own. Maybe you didn't develop that. You did, as Obama said, when it came to a business, you didn't make that. Yeah. In this case, it's actually true. Maybe you didn't make your mindset. Maybe someone else made it for you. Maybe what you think and you're rigidly attached to is not your actual own thought process. Maybe that's a Satanist who is a chess master at the manipulation of the mind, gave you those thoughts, impressions, those desires, those wants, those feelings, those preferences and perceptions. The problem is most people would never know because they don't examine those things. They just take them as for granted. They take them as read. That's just the way they are. And that's just, my genes did that, or experiences in maybe my childhood did that. They don't even understand. The social engineer's mindset is everywhere. It's in every media. It's in Hollywood. It's in every story you've probably ever fucking heard or read. It's in most of the books that you've ever read, unless they're specifically trying to tell you how it works and decondition you from it. That's why I say it's not a matter of reading a lot of books. It's a matter of reading the right books. It's about discernment in knowledge and information and reading the books that you actually need to read to understand what you need to understand. That's what the gathering of the grammar is. How many of people's thoughts are not their own? Edward Bernays, who wrote the book Propaganda in 1928, said this, and the subtitle was The Public Mind in the Making. And he wrote other books about social engineering as well. The conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses is an important element in democratic society, so-called democracy, mob rule. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society, which in other words, he just told you, it's the occult. The unseen is the hidden. It's the occult world. Those who manipulate this occult mechanism of society constitute an invisible government, which is the true ruling power of our country. He's openly telling the population, as an insider, an agent of the occult world, that occultists are the actual ruling class. Those who manipulate this unseen mechanism of society constitute an invisible government that is the real ruling power. Who are they? They are those who direct the conscious and intelligent manipulation of the organized habits and opinions of the masses. Social engineers. Social engineers are the occultists who ultimately sit behind the ostensible power structure and are the true ruling class of our society because they are capable of manipulating the minds of the masses of people. Bernays went on to say, we are governed, our minds are molded, our tastes are formed, our ideas suggested largely by men we have never heard of. This is a logical result of the way in which our democratic society is organized. He's talking about the occult network. He's talking about the way that occultists are placed into point positions of power and influence in all of the institutional bodies of humanity in every aspect, as I've endlessly talked about. Continuing on, I know we only have about a minute left. Most people don't even truly know why they find certain things that they find likable, agreeable, attractive, etc. that way. They don't know why. See, the Nazis were a huge occult society. I just rewatched the movie Inglourious Bastards, in which one of the Nazis, one of the main characters, talking about the Jewish population of Germany and Europe. Why don't we like them? We don't even know why we don't like them. We just don't. He was acknowledging that the occult class that created that society, that created that regime, implanted beliefs into them where they don't even know why they took on their likes, opinions, or belief systems regarding the Jewish population. Most people don't know why they find certain things attractive or agreeable. The same can be said for both men and women, both men and women. In all such attraction, a natural, instinctual dynamic. Is all such attraction a natural, instinctive dynamic, or can a great portion of it be attributed to cultural programming? That's all the time we have for this edition, folks. We'll leave it right there for today, and I'll see you right here, same time and place, for part 5 of Unholy Feminine next week. Thanks for watching.